The background, of course, guys, is I found a dragon for you guys to look at, and it's weird visual glitch that happens in Verdant Brink, where sometimes like the dragons just get frozen there forever, and there you go. Enjoy that. But hey, guys, I know it's been a little while. But it's tea time. It's going to be a podcast. I've got the full podcast microphone as well. And yes, it is the return of MMO Inks. Inks is in the mix. Yeah, that is right. Okay. It's been a very, very long time. And, I'm not going to lie, Inks, you're actually pretty much everyone says, like, when's Inks back on tea time, man? Like, when's Inks back? We want him back. When's he getting back in the mix? People are, they have an obsession. You've got a bit of a cult following, Inks. Do you have anything to say to the to the
pups? I appreciate the warm welcome from everybody right now here in chat. It's very nice. I was saying the other day, like, I miss doing podcasts, and then Teapot was like, tea time? I was like, sure, let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
And as far as DeRoyer or whatever feeling, however he feels, I've been there, right? Where Teapot, you've sent me a message before, and I'm just like, look, I got nothing to say, man. I don't know. So I've been there. I've had that feeling. Yeah,
it's completely understandable, right? And of course, I think we've got a really good perspective here because we have Envy, who's took a little bit of a break from the game actually, and has now moved back into it with PvP, like a lot of other stuff. You're even doing the good work and teaching new players about the game. I see that stream title, okay. That's wow, a hero of the community right there. And I. You've had a warm welcome in PvP, right? I've seen an interesting screenshot of that.
Oh, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, man. PvP people are just like the nicest community.
Oh, yeah.
They wished all kinds of things upon you.
But anyway, to cut on to the point, introductions aside, we've got some news. We've actually got quite a lot of news, actually, and some interesting policy changes, actually, with regards to Arena and how they're communicating. And we actually kind of missed this because, of course, the roadmap happened a while ago, so that's going to come up on this tea time as well. And we also have some early announcement of content coming up, which is, again, something that ArenaNet has never really done before. And on top of that, we see a lot of extra marketing coming out of the woodwork right now as well. So, in my opinion, some really great steps have been taken by the company to actually kind of get the game out there, get the product out there, and show the world that this game isn't dead, right? Because I think when a game goes silent, when you've got that radio silence, whether this is correct or not, like people start to assume things. Like they go, "Oh, dude, Guild Wars 2, no one hears about that anymore, right? It's dead, right?" And whether that's not really a good assumption to make, of course. But that's kind of how it goes, right? That's how people feel when you have that kind of radio silence from the company. And it's really good, in my opinion, to see that they're actually trying to change that. Whether that's because of the recent situations, of course, with the layoffs, it's actually really an interesting discussion to have because there was a post on, I think a post on Reddit where they were talking about this. And a lot of this stuff has actually been in the work for a very long time. Right, like it's a lot of this stuff has been going on for about a year. Like this stuff has been in the works, like this marketing campaign. So they were aware that this was a problem, and I guess that they just kind of pushed it out now, right, to kind of get something out there, get something out on the board, right, to kind of I guess start to the road to recovery from I guess the damage that the lack of communication has done. So the question I have to ask. For you guys, like, do you guys think it's too late? Is this too little, too late, or is there a road to recovery for ArenaNet from this, this kind of almost like self-inflicted obscurity and just obfuscation of like the fact that they even exist, right? I mean, can you rebuild it?
I think so. Absolutely. Look what happened to Legion. Legion was fun as can be, and WoW.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I think
they had like 2 bad expansions, and then the game was kind of puttering along for years. Then Legion came out, and then people that had never ever played the game, I think it was like one of their biggest returns in a long time, which made I think BFA hype. Then BFA was just hot trash. But if a game that'll come back around, restructure, rebuild, bring out a good expansion, and kind of during Legion, I think isn't that when they started Mythic Plus? Or right before that, and then that became massive. Now the MDI is a big thing, and they've ruined it now. But if a game can be out that long, graphics aside, looking like little terrible cartoons, and still produce good quality, good content. I mean, why can't Guild Wars 2 do it?
So you talk about Mythic Plus there, right? Like, do you think that there is a requirement that there's a bit of innovation there then? Right, so you need to, you think that ArenaNet need to kind of hit us with something new, right? Hit us with something new and a lot of content as well, because this is something that still concerns me, right? Like, we have the announcement for the upcoming mount, right? We have a new mount coming, and what does alarm me a little bit about the marketing campaign, don't get me wrong, I love the marketing campaign. Like, honestly, even the live action ads, okay, you know, you get a little smirk out of me, okay? Like, I can, you know, I'm not above saying that they get a little smirk out of me. Even that, a lot of it seems to be targeted around the fact that there's a lot of players in the game and there's a lot of cosmetics in the game, and like there's something for everyone, right? As opposed to like focusing on content, being content focused, gameplay focused, mechanics focused. It seems that it's actually, I mean, you know, not to be too harsh, it seems that a lot of the marketing is actually based around fluff, right? And I'm just not sure if you can really, it's like selling the sizzle, right? But eventually you've got to be able to pull out the sausage, right? Okay, well, that's slightly odd analogy there. But you know, you've got to be able to produce the sausage. Okay, you can't just be selling the smell of the sausage, right? You've got to be able to actually produce kind of, you know, the meat, right? Some proper gameplay, proper mechanics, right? That people can actually dig into, because as it stands right now, I don't know, dude. I really hate to say this, guys. There's nothing wrong with the mount, okay? And I'm not going to bash the mount. Honestly, it's probably going to be great, right? But a mount is not content, right? Okay? A mount is not content. You'll unlock it during the story very quickly, and then all you do is you can like flap around with it and climb on walls with it. And that's all well and good, right? But still, you know, that's not, you know, dungeons, that's not fractals, that's not raids, right? That's not world versus world updates, that's not PvP updates. I genuinely fear that even though we see some really great changes in the approach of the company, I'm just not sure if we're actually going to see delivery, right? I'm not sure we're going to see delivery. I think alliances are still a long way off. I think a lot of stuff is still a lot of the upgrades to the systems and actually adding content into the game that's repeatable for the players to do, right, is going to take a very long time. I think it's a very long way off, right? And that is what I'm concerned about. That's what I really hope that ArenaNet improve on, is delivering actual content to the game, right? Well, not necessarily content, because I think what Valen says here is absolutely right here, okay? You know, the mounts are content because, yeah, you have to, you know, there's something in the game, right? But at the end of the day,
acquisition.
Yeah, acquisition, right? But ultimately, this is an MMO, right? And MMOs do have an inherent level of grind to them, right? Like, there needs to be something repeatable for the players to properly get into, right? And I just don't think that mounts, masteries, and even story content actually fits that definition. We need to see things that the players can strive for and effectively grind for, have a little bit of grind to the game, right? Like rewards that can be obtained in the game, right? That require some kind of challenge, right? Not just like AFKing around, like, you know, time gated on dailies, right? Which is, you know, that's kind of a bit, it's, you know, it's a little bit of a dated thing to do, right? So I don't know. I really hope that we actually see an uptick in actual content, like proper open world events, right? Like really good open world events that have some depth to them, not just like, you know, hit a loot pinata and it falls over. Okay. You know, we want stuff like raids. We need stuff like balance updates to rectify world versus world. Like, even honestly, changing the game system as world versus world is huge. I think PvP is actually in a pretty good state right now. Like, you can play around with the balance, but I think PvP in a way is actually the game mode. I know maybe some PvPers in the chat are going to meme me, but I've actually been playing a lot of PvP, so I actually genuinely feel this way. I think PvP is probably the game mode in the best state right now. Personally, I think that wouldn't be unfair to say. You know, it has, its systems are finished, right? It has automated tournaments. You have a really great reward for winning the monthly automated tournament. You have a ranked system, works fine, right? Ranked is fine. It's a low population, obviously, which doesn't help, but you know, it works, right? You know that, you know, you've got the good rewards for doing it, to be fair, as well, like ascended, loads of gold, materials, open world stuff. Like, it's good, right? It's good. So I think the other game modes have really kind of been left by the wayside in terms of actual development, and that, I think, is what is really important that we see ArenaNet deliver on. Okay, I don't think that world versus world can wait like 2 years between updates. That is unacceptable, right? I think raids, you cannot have a raid every year, okay? Because the raid scene is already, bleeding out as it is. Like to be honest, the raid scene is dead, right? Ultimately. It's hanging on by a thread, and you cannot keep people playing the game with like 3 bosses a year. That's not going to cut it. So I think you're absolutely right, Envy. It's not too late, but I think that we need to see very specific things from ArenaNet in specific areas of the game, and hopefully a focus on content, right? And content rich. We were told that Path of Fire was going to be a content rich expansion, right? I've talked enough. Let's bring Inks into this. What do you reckon about all that, Inks? What do you think?
Well, the going back to the mount, the acquisition of the mount itself is content. The mount itself, especially the fact that it's a dragon, is money for ArenaNet, right? This is how they're going to monetize the hell out of that dragon, which the game needs. The game needs money, but I don't think this particular episode, coming probably at the end of April, beginning of May, is going to see any different change than what we've been seeing cookie cutter wise for Living Story. And I know that's a shame. I know that's not what people want to hear or see. But this restructuring that is just starting to take place, or has just taken place because of the layoffs, that's going to take like 6 months or so before you see the fruits of any of that labor. Anything that they're building right now, as far as beyond this episode that we're about to get kind of soon, you're not going to see any of that work for several months. And so I've seen quite a few people say that all their hopes and dreams are pinned upon this episode. If this episode doesn't deliver, I'm out. I'm done. But the fact is, this episode's done. It's been done for a while. You know what I mean? They're just polishing it up. They're doing voiceover content, whatever the last touches are for that. And the same is true for the raid as well. Whenever we get that raid, we know that the raid is basically done. They were just fine-tuning bosses. So unfortunately, whatever raid we get next, which will be Kadim's continued story, again, that doesn't include the restructuring of the teams or anything like that. So we're still 6 months out probably before we really see the restructured content, unfortunately. With the exception of they're holding the raid a little bit to do some kind of open world content to release at the same time, which is a bit infuriating, understandable, but frustrating too.
Absolutely. I think it's a good point. We should be PMA. I think just outwardly looking at the way the company is behaving now, like, being a lot more communicative. We actually got a roadmap with some communication. Like, wow, right? I mean, it's kind of crazy that we even got that. And there were some really interesting ideas there. I kind of want to discuss some of those. Like, we're going to have legendary runes and sigils, which is kind of a fun one, right? They're going to finish off the crafting. You know that 500 Chef has been on the table for like 3 years, dude. So we're finally going to get 500 Chef, I guess. And, of course, the Swiss is coming for PvP tournaments, right? Like that. It's really, really interesting that they have all of this stuff in mind. Like, it's really weird that it gives me a lot of faith in ArenaNet because they have good ideas, but it also makes me a bit worried because I'm thinking like, so they actually know the problems, right? And they know what to do, but something's getting lost along the way and it takes an incredibly long time, right? Like the roadmap gave me, it really was like, oh, dude, this is really cool, right? I'm really impressed with ArenaNet. Like they actually know what's wrong, right? And they want to address these issues. But the thing is, the fact that they know and just don't do anything, it also made me very unnerved in a way, right? Because I was like, wait, why aren't they doing anything about it? Like, they could just fix it. They actually know what's wrong, so why aren't they doing it? So it makes me a little worried about the internals of what's actually going on. It's kind of scary. But There were some really good things in there. I just love the idea of having like finishing out the crafting systems for jewel crafting and chef. Legendary runes and sigils, that's awesome as well. Looking about restructuring rewards in World versus World and making it meaningful. That is just a massive thing that is really incredibly important, right? Like that needs to happen. They also talk about the open world integration of the raid. Now, a lot of people didn't like this. But some raiders don't like this because they feel like it's being delayed, right, by this but the integration in the open world. But I actually think that having a bit of something for everyone when a raid release comes out and making every player get excited about a raid release, I think is actually a really good step, a great idea that I hadn't actually really considered either, in kind of bridging that gap. I think ArenaNet are aware that there is a bit of a divide, right, between the hardcore community in Guild Wars 2 and the casuals. There's some antagonism there, and when they integrate this in, they have some events, right, for the more casual players. Some fun stuff that they can do, maybe a few skins they can get outside the raid, like giving them a reason to be excited about content that they feel that they can't really enjoy. Just the release of it. Is, I don't know, I think it's really, really good actually. That can kind of join the community together and maybe generate some more interest in raids, perhaps get people into it, and therefore maybe we might see some more development on that. I'm kind of speculating wildly here, and maybe I am grasping. I'm sure everyone in the chat is going to like, Tinfoil, he's being overly PMA, he's grasping at straws. Like, this guy is a bloody clown. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people saying that I'm being far too optimistic and far too ridiculous about it. But I don't know. I am kind of an optimistic guy. I really like to think the best of things and and go, you know what? ArenaNet can get the job done. Okay, they can get the goddamn job done, boys. Okay, and yeah, I hope to see all of that come through. And so the roadmap for me, even though I know a lot of people are saying it's not really a roadmap, and it is true, it wasn't really a roadmap. It was more of like this stuff is on the table. But guys, it's an ArenaNet, right? You have to. You have to give them, come on. We have the little baby steps.
Come on, man.
Okay? But come on, man. Yes.
they're at least talking to the community, saying here's what we have as an idea, or here's what we are working on. So I think it's a good first step. It's something that should have obviously been done a long time ago, but it's certainly something that the community has been asking for as well, right? They talk to us, let us know what is happening. Yeah, you don't have any firm dates, and ArenaNet is not going to give you dates because they're scared of not making those deadlines, even though you can just say, hey, we missed the deadline. And sure, some people will be angry when you miss a deadline, but, that's life. I don't know what to tell you about that one. But it's nice to get that communication. They've been better the last month or so with communication in general. I just hope that this isn't short-term better communication and that this becomes their regular standard going forward.
Yeah, that becomes like every few quarter, every 2 months or a quarter, we get like a cool little update. That'd be awesome.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah,
just hearing kind of like, hey, this came out, we executed on it, you guys liked it, listened, or hey, we tried this, wasn't so much of a hit, thanks to the feedback, how about we go this direction? Cool, we're excited, that sounds good.
Yeah, what you just hit on there is so important, right, Envy? I think that's the next step. The first step, right, is it's exactly what you just said there. Is they've started to actually talk to us. The second step, okay, is when we can convince them that saying that they messed up and saying, oh, that didn't work, we can go back and fix that. That's the second step, right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's a really it's a really big thing, because that's something that Arena is historically very bad at. They'll put something out there and then just leave it there and just never go back and fix it.
Never fix it.
Just nope. Okay, move on. Next thing. Run away. And
don't look directly at
it. Exactly. Absolutely. And that is perhaps not the best way to do it. So we need to communicate our feedback in a way that is going to be relatively positive. Don't just start randomly flaming, but we also need to communicate to Arena that it's okay and we don't mind it when mistakes are made, and mistakes happen, and we recognize that as the player base, as the consumer, and we're not going to go crazy and not going to start freaking out. But yeah, that will be when I really start to regain a lot of confidence in the game, actually, is if something like that happened, right? If ArenaNet actually acted on player feedback. I know it sounds really harsh to say that, but ArenaNet are not very good at acting on player feedback, right? If they actually did end up doing that, and they said, okay, that was obviously not good, but we're going to fix that, or this problem has existed with World vs. World for a long time, and now we're going to address that. We're going to fix that, right? And we hear, we hear the players, like we understand what the players want, and by putting that in there, will be a really good idea. It will be a really good step, in my opinion, in building up trust again, because in a way, the Guild Wars 2 community is so jaded, so cynical, right? And to be honest, a bit difficult to work with at this point, because I'm not going to lie, like, to be brutally honest, we have been, certainly the more veteran, more hardcore players, right? We've been disappointed for a hell of a long time, right? So building that trust up again, like getting rid of that cynicism, which is justified, by the way, guys. I'm not going to be criticized. I know almost everyone in my chat is like bloody ridiculously cynical, okay, about the game. But I think that that it's a long road to recovery for the veterans, to get back into a positive mindset regarding the game. But I think it is absolutely possible, right? I think it's absolutely possible that there can be that. The road to positivity and PMA, away from the sarcasm and cynicism. But the thing is, Arena has got to keep this up. They've got to be consistent, and they've got to do more than this, honestly. Like, I know this is already far more than we've ever really got before in terms of communication, but it is still just the first step of what real communication looks like, right? Like, we need a hell of a lot more of this, okay? And it needs to keep going. It needs to be consistent, and it can't just be like once a year, okay? It's got to be frequent, okay? It's got to be frequent and, honestly, more in depth, right? Just tell us about this, right? I'd love to see more live streams. I think previously in the past, there were a lot of great live streams. A lot of really great live streams talking about the game, talking about PvP. Talking about World versus World, talking about raids, like all these design features in raids, and like how the development happens and goes down, right? Like, all of that would be amazing right now. I think the players are really interested, and just seeing what's going on a little bit behind the scenes, doesn't have to be much, really, really gets people excited and gets people engaged with the game and invested in the game. Like, certainly what I'm started to feel like, and this is me, guys, bear in mind, I am one of the most diehard fans of Guild Wars 2, I suppose you could say, right? Even I'm starting to feel very disconnected and borderline apathetic towards the game, right? Like that, and that is someone who's played every single day, basically since launch, right? Even I'm starting to think like, oh man, like, why am I doing this? Like, I've never thought why. Like, why am I doing this to myself? But recently that has actually started to happen. I'm like, why am I logging into this game again? It's just, I don't know. So I really hope that this is the start, okay, of the up and up for Guild Wars 2.
I just hope that they have the foresight. Talking about going back to World vs. World a little bit, I just hope that they have the foresight when alliances are ready. And I know they're not anywhere close to ready right now, but when alliances are ready, that they have several other things ready at the same time. Such as a restructuring of rewards, real World vs. World balance updates, and maybe even announcements of what else they're working on. Like, if they're going to bring seasons back at some point, maybe they should start talking about that. And I know Alliances isn't ready, but what I'm scared about is that they'll release Alliances, and that's it. Like, we got the War Mount, which I know, the War Claw, which some people don't like or whatever. But when they release Alliances, not only do I think they need to market Alliances as a World vs. World relaunch, but they need to incorporate balance changes at the same time, as well as a restructuring and rewards and so forth. And if they were ever going to do, let's say, a legendary ring for World vs. World, that would be the time to add something like that in there at the same time. Make it big and make it impactful and advertise the living hell out of it.
Absolutely.
So that people know that this is a relaunch.
Mm-hmm.
ArenaNet's not super great at that, but that's what they need to be doing with something like this, this alliance system that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What that's super important what you just said there, Rings. Like, that is huge. Okay, I think that kind of aspect of the marketing, like really putting it out there and saying, yeah, this game is not in maintenance mode. This is not just here to put world versus world on automation mode. Okay, this is here and we're coming back. Right, world versus world has been such a it's like the unloved child, like adopted child of Guild Wars 2 for so long, but oh no, okay, this time we're done. He's going to a fancy university, okay, he's got a nice suit on, okay, like, no, we've decided that we love this child now, we're going to take care of the little guy, okay. That's what it needs to be for World versus World. It needs to happen now, and they need to be loud and proud about it, okay. Don't just say, alliances, alliances, by the way, you can play with the guild friends. No, it's got to be, no, boys, it's alliances. Crush those scum guilds. Okay, guild pride, let's go. Build your alliances, crush your enemies under your boot heels, purge them. Like, that's what it needs to be. Okay, it kind of, well, this is what, but no, ArenaNet, come on, let's not mess around. Okay, let's get that game out. You still do it better, okay, than any other MMO out there, guys. It really is as simple as that, right? It really is. Guild Wars 2 is still the best MMO, mechanically speaking, on the market, okay? And that's why so many people keep coming back to it, okay? Like, you quit it, you come back, right? You hate it, you love it, right? And that is why, and Arena needs to recognize this and get in the mix and really shill their game hard and do what they do best, okay? Because they have the capacity to do it, but they just need to combine that content with marketing and timing. I really want to go on what Ink said there. This is such a huge point, okay? Timing, okay? Alliances are great, okay? They're going to fix a problem in World vs. World, right? Which is, it's going to be about, the fact that it's a bit meaningless, right? Alliances are absolutely going to help that. They're going to make people kind of want to do well, right? Because, with your guild, right? Guild. My guild's better than your guild, okay? Your guild's trash, right? Yeah. That's absolutely going to be, it's going to bring back some drama, bit of politics, bit of action, love it, okay? But there are some other major issues that need to be resolved soon. Now, and this is actually the thing, I've never been the biggest fan of the mount, right? But you know what the mount did do? Okay, it made people try out World versus World, okay? You know what happened when they tried out World versus World? People went in World versus World, they get absolutely one-shot by Revs hitting you with 20k hits, okay? Like Ellie's 20k meteors, okay? Like the scrappers everywhere are going crazy, Firebrand spamming others, Necro mass corrupting you from fucking 1200 range, okay? No one fucking likes that shit, okay? It's AIDS, okay? If you want to get people to stick in World versus World, you have to fix things. You got to make it good for new players. So the mount was timed incredibly badly, okay? The mount was a good thing for World versus World. I'm just going to say it, World versus World players. I didn't even like it. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the mount. I don't even like that it exists. Okay, it is quite convenient for getting out. Okay, it is convenient for getting around places. Nice. Okay, however, that mount was an amazing tool. Okay, for getting people back in the game, getting people to try it. Okay, new players from open world, right? From the more casual audience, right? Getting into it. A ridiculous amount of people tried it. We were talking like 200 queues, right? Insane queues.
All day, all night.
It was crazy. All day, all night. People going psycho. Absolutely good lunatics, right? Okay. But you know what? They went in there and they got them out, then they fucked off. Okay. Why? Because the gameplay was annoying, okay? And it's AIDS, okay? Not good. Okay, so if you want to fix this stuff, okay, if you want to actually get people to stick, you need to do the full package. That's what Inks is saying. It needs to be the full package, okay? You can't just bring the players back. You have to bring the players back into a game mode that's finished. World versus World right now is not very finished, right? Like, the matches are meaningless, okay? They're fucking meaningless. The balance is terrible, okay? I'm not gonna lie. It is not good, okay? It's not fun, right? It's AIDS, right? You've got Necros. This spamming out corrupts, like, far too much, okay? They also have 10 targets. Revs critting you for 20k. Even if you're in, like, minstrel gear, they're going to get you for, like, fucking, 15k or something. It's ridiculous. Angels is telling me that sometimes, like, when he does his full minstrel scrapper, he literally gets one shot, okay? That shouldn't be happening, guys, okay? That's not right, okay? No. Bad, okay? Very, very bad. Dude. Topic EU has now done 365 gifted subs, okay? Wow, okay, I'm impressed. That's a lot of gifted subs, dude. God damn. But yeah, so hit that stuff, okay? It needs to be resolved first, okay? Get the reward structure fixed, okay? Let's get some rewards going, okay? Let's make it happen, right? Okay, so make winning mean something. You get some rewards,
Yeah,
right?
big
Okay,
time.
get some.
When what's it called? The alliances comes out, they need to also tie the API in to a website, like a third party company can come in and make like, you can track it, so you can see who the top guilds. Because I know it's out there for the servers right now, so you can see like who you're matching up against. I don't know the name of the website, but if they could do it similar, like how other games have done it, to where you like you can create your own, you can make it unique, make it to your liking. We can kind of see, Teapot's guild Salt. Look, they're sixth to last place.
How
No,
dare
like,
you?
you know what I'm
How
saying?
dare you?
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, you take the API in this game, you can pull a lot of really cool information. So you can see this is their average fight, what their blob looks like, whatever we can pull.
Right.
You can kind of always even see like the KD of that alliance and see that, okay, this alliance is very kill heavy, or this alliance is known for, they will just back cap you and split and get every camp. They'll kill your Doliacs. You can kind of know how to fight the different alliances. So that'd be something cool to kind of add a little flavor to.
To be honest, put it in the game, man. I want it in the game. I mean, API is great, right? API is great, but true bragging rights are in the game, and with any luck, we're going to see a lot of we're going to see a hell of a lot of these in-game UI features to kind of incentivize competition in the game. Like World versus World is ultimately a PvP game mode, right? It gets overlooked, right? I think because it's not called PvP, people don't think of it as PvP, but that's exactly what it is. It's large-scale PvP. That's all it is. So I think the fact that it isn't incentivized for competitiveness, right, is a bit of a rot almost, right? It's the game mode is diseased, right? And ArenaNet needs to be there and like cut away the diseased tissue, right? And just, boom, let's go. Like freshen up, get back in the mix. So when this happens with any system, right? Okay, any system, you need to have it needs to be the full package. You can't just pick at the problem, right, and then wait another year before you do it again. Okay, it needs to be all in one go. Okay, when you're gonna do this big relaunch of World vs. World, make sure that the game mode is complete, okay, and is completely functional, right, and is fit for purpose, because World vs. World is struggling. And to be honest, if they don't do anything else, it needs to be balanced, and they've got to hit it hard. We have been seeing some really cool changes in the balance patches. Well, I say that, but it's mostly power creep, and that terrifies me, actually. I genuinely think that ArenaNet's entire approach to balance is fundamentally flawed. Instead of nerfing down everything, they're just buffing up all the crappy stuff, right? For example, Scrapper is a great example of this. Like, Scrapper was actually already pretty good in GvG at the time, right? But in the recent balance patch, they just took it to a whole new level, guys. Same with Tempest, right? Tempest was already great in World vs. World and GvG, but they just went even further. Cat is enabled, guys. Cat is enabled. Okay? I don't know. I really think that the balance just needs to be, they need to hit it hard. Like, split World vs. World. Like, World vs. World needs specific changes, and it needs them now. And to be honest, one of the things that I think ArenaNet would probably say is that there are a lot of different opinions, okay, in World versus World. And to that, I would say, look, just do something, right? Okay, instead of nothing, because ArenaNet consistently does nothing about the balance in World versus World. Well, in a lot of places, really, honestly. But just do something. Okay, if people scream and shout about it, let the dust settle before, reacting to it and getting all upset about how mean the community is, right? Just go crazy. Just like get down to business, okay? And get some big sweeping changes, because trust me, okay? If they make a balance patch of the same size they did last time, it would take about 10 of them, right? Before World versus World is actually fixed, okay, in that way, okay? So just get on with it, hit it hard, like really get bite into stuff. I mean, shake it up, yeah. Right? To be honest, like, just give it one other thing I would say for World vs. which is like, give an alternative to Guardian, right? Like, this is hilarious. You know how people always complain about Mesmer in stuff like in PvP and raids. Okay, so Chrono has been meta in raids since Heart of Thorns, right? Bitch, like, Guardian has been meta in World versus World since day one of the game, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh my god, it's ridiculous, right? It's like, come on, man, like, You
Absolutely
got.
true.
I mean, I don't mind that, right? Like, of course, Guardian is inherently going to be good in World vs. World because it has stability. But come on, man, we've got elite specs. Give one of them some stability as well, right? It's ridiculous. How hard can it be? It's so silly to me. Like that's how it is. Like it's the same with Necro. Necro's like the only class that is Necro in World vs. World. It's just we need some variety for it. We need to just give it, mix it up a bit, make some of the other classes get some good, get some work done, right? So
I don't want to jump too far off topic. It's still on there, but like earlier we were talking about how they made the announcement, how they're going to be more transparent. We do know that a lot of the side projects were canceled. I don't know their makeup at their office,
Right.
but I'm wondering, like, with all those side projects being canceled and kind of the main game being the focus now, could these fractals, World v World, whatever that are getting changed, could those teams be just focusing on those and that much of a focus and that much of a shift to say, hey, we're working on the thing, because the letter said we're working on what we already have that's good and make it better. Which, yes, like, hello, dungeons in this game are a ton of fun, but nobody does them except for Grimjack's Guild.
well, yeah.
Somebody chat. But like fractals are a ton of fun, but it's just kind of like you do it for the day and you're out. It's that one and done. And then raids, CMs. Well, first off, raids are only once per week, and CMs aren't repeatable. And then there's not an entry level raid. I mean, the average player goes into a raid, they can't even get to the Karen platform.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. If you've ever been into a World of Warcraft looking for group raid, these people don't have their monitors on, but they get to see the cutscene.
Yeah,
they get the kill. They get some entry level loot, and they feel rewarded. And then some of them are like, you know what? I am gonna get good. I am gonna go watch Ink stream. I'm not gonna watch Envy's. I'm gonna download Teapot's, Necro guide, and then they actually get good. But if ArenaNet is adjusting their structure and is able to put resources back into things that are good, I would love to see a competitive side of fractals that is celebrated, a competitive side of raids that people want to get into, and then make in-game dungeons relevant by tying a reward to it that the veterans want to do and the new players want to get to be able to do.
Right.
Like I still don't know why you can't do a T4 fractal, get a score for it, reward, and then or a dungeon, and then an item at the end of the game that says your group can go back in, but now your time. Now you have to kill this many mobs, and basically just kind of steal the bread and butter that Mythic Plus is, and it makes the same dungeon repeatable, but it's harder and harder. You can do the same dungeon 100 times; it's different every time. Now everybody just blasts stealth and skips it. You can't skip it if there's a kill count.
This is a really interesting conversation to have, actually, about just in general about ArenaNet's design philosophy with regards to content, right? Now, for whatever reason, and I imagine that this is something that we're all going to agree on, I think, that is a pretty bad idea, but ArenaNet really don't like you repeating the same content, right? They want you they want you to do something once a day and then either log out or do something else, right? Like, they hate the idea that people like fractals enough to do them, over and over and over again, right? They really don't like it. They've made it so that doing it more than once is literally like a complete waste of your time, pretty much. Okay, and it's the same with raids. Like, if you want to do raids more than once a week, well, I've got some great news. You got those 2 blues and a green lined up for you. I was like, oh, gee, thanks, buddy. And it's the same with even the same with open world. They even don't let you do that in open world. Really, it's a bit.
And I don't understand why. I don't understand. Why anybody thinks that's a good philosophy to have.
Don't really know.
That's not really my cup of tea. I don't want to farm Istan for 12 hours a day. But if somebody wants to, let them do it. Who cares? If that's their thing.
Yeah.
If they want to go farm, let's Silver Waste then, whatever. Like, if they want to go farm that for 24/7, why should they not be able to? If they want to farm dungeons all day or fractals all day, whatever, why not? I think for certain things like repeatable CMs, that could be weekly or whatever. That doesn't necessarily, but you've got to give rewards every week that are worth doing for that to mean something. And ArenaNet, you're right. They just have this philosophy of, we don't want you doing too much of X. Go do Y or log off. And that's just I don't know. That's a terrible mindset to have.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think it works for an MMO, right? Just let people do what they want. I mean, it's play how you want, right? Play how you want, but just don't go farming stuff. They don't like that. Okay, don't go playing the same content over again. Like, imagine if people only like raids, man. Oh, dude, that's horrible. We better make it so like doing that is like a really easy way to quit the game. You
gotta get like marketing out there. I play Tree of Savior with some buddies, and the buddies I play with are, the number one world for, well, not currently, but for like years they were. It was from Final Fantasy 14. They said all the world first. They did tons of stuff. And I play a little, Tree of Savior game with them, and I told them, there's raids in Guild Wars 2. They're like, wait, y'all have raids? And I showed it to them. I'm like, how do the number one raid group, like in the world for a game, who set world first, who play a bunch of MMOs, who play WoW, who play all these different games, don't even know that there's raids in Guild Wars 2. And I showed them videos on, Watch Together. So you can all be in Discord and watch the same video. And we were going over Doom and all these different fights, and like, this looks awesome. And they like had no idea. How do people that are in-game raiders? Yeah, it's just like blows my mind.
Yeah, and that's. Oh yeah, you go ahead, Inks. You go ahead.
Somebody said earlier too, like when they do this world versus world rework, make it the complete package. Reach out to people like Angry Joe, whose he had a lot of complaints, and why he eventually left Guild Wars 2 because World vs. World wasn't getting some of the updates he wanted to see, and joining as a group was a problem and so forth. But contact some of these people who are well-known streamers for, say, Realm vs. Realm games, and get them to come back and stream your game for a day or a couple of days or whatever. Why not contact Method and say, hey, come do our raids or whatnot? Or whoever, whatever raid guilds are big out there in other games, I think if you did that and you marketed a brand new raid or something at the same time, it just brings more visibility to the game as a whole.
Yeah. Why don't they do, what's it called? The bounty system, Not the bounty system in this game, the Twitch bounty system.
Yeah,
isn't that determined by the
Twitch
gaming
drops?
company?
Twitch drops? You mean that one?
Is that, I don't know what it's called. It's where basically, it's like, hey, you can go play this game and this is this. Isn't that designed by the, like, if you and I are we're all delusional elitists, whatever. Like, if we're all doing our thing, and you see, hey, did you guys see that? Wizard Quest. I'm making up a game. Has a bounty. Let's go play it.
Wizard Quest.
Right. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of
No, that's good, dude. That's good.
That was trash. But I mean, it gets people to play. But like, I saw a lot of the Method guys playing BDO, and then people were adding me on Twitter and stuff like, "Hey, so and so's playing BDO. They need your help. Go help." I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then because BDO had a bounty set up for it, so why doesn't or what can we do to get Guild Wars 2 on there? I mean, can we? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, right? Because you'll say, it's an old ass game, right? It's an old game. It's been around for ages. But to be honest, like age really is just a number. Like, if you really get down to brass tacks and talk about
R. Kelly,
yeah, and you talk about mechanics though, right? If you just talk about mechanics, right, it still has really good content. It's not as grindy as the other, as the other MMOs, right? It's got less pure meat to it, right? Okay, but still, there's the game. The game is, okay. Wait, why are you guys all talking about like we're talking about like humans here? What the fuck? You guys? I'm calling the FBI on you, chat. Okay, I'm gonna call you guys. What the hell is wrong with you? You guys are all messed up. You're all on a bloody list right now, dude. I wasn't even talking about that. Okay, what the hell is wrong with you? Okay, like, wow, you've all got very dirty minds, guys. Okay, you've got very, very dirty minds. Okay, when you use that expression, you're always talking about like you're trying to console someone who feels old. Okay, not the other way around. What the hell is wrong with you guys? Okay, you've been watching too much anime, all of you. You guys like those lolies. I know you do. Okay, you guys like those lolies. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. You're all weebs. But no, seriously, the game is still really good. It's kind of at the top of its top of the market really in terms of mechanic. So it's really good. It's really good shit, and you could definitely bring people back into the mix, right? But you could definitely get people back into this game, and because if you ignore the fact that it's an old game, right? Okay, if you just said, you know what, I've never heard of Guild Wars 2. If you came into Guild Wars 2 now, I think it would do pretty well, right? It actually has a lot of stuff to do in it if you're coming into it fresh. It's got raids, right? It's got a good PvP system. World versus World is a good system, right? So it's not like it's dated in terms of its mechanics, right? It's just dated because it's arbitrarily came out years ago, right? So it's lost its hype train. Okay, but if you put that hype train back together again, like, you know, like imagine if Guild Wars 2 is like, you know, if it was top 10 on Twitch for like a month straight, right? Because a few streamers tried it out. That would be huge. It would actually be huge. You could really make it relevant again. I think, to be honest, a great example, I doubt we'll get to 80. The leveling, to be honest, the leveling experience might have to rework to do. The new player experience in this game is, I mean, let me put it politely, dog shit. Okay? Wow. And that's putting it politely, to be honest, right? But I guess it's better. Honestly, it might be better than other games, though, actually, because like leveling, maybe, I don't know. It's a bit weird. But anyway, maybe we're a little bit spoiled. I think maybe in other games that actually might be worse, to be fair, actually. But either way, right? You could definitely get this game going again. You could definitely reignite the flame for sure. Just start it again, right? There's no reason why they couldn't. You know, it would. If I was ever forced to level a character from 1 to 80, not using tomes, I would kill myself. Well,
I've never done it. I've been playing this game for years off and on. I've never done it. I level through Edge Mist, or I will swipe my Visa. And maybe that's the plan all along. Maybe they just want you to bust out the credit card and be like, hell no, I'm level 30. I'm done with these parts. But here's another thing. So I heard you guys. I think Inks was talking to you. You guys were talking about this a while ago, but how there's not really an entry level raid. I don't want to open up that can, but for a marketing and the bait and the hook, what if they bring out a very small story driven raid wing or something that ties to the core game, the free to play game, that gets them to see it? That's fun, that's easy, that's not at all in like, you know, a fraction of the difficulty of the other ones. And then when you're done, it shows you like a cutscene of the other raids, and then it links you to the gym shop to buy the expansion.
Yeah.
Not the last one, but for real, like it literally gets you. Wow, that was an amazing experience. I wanted the next raid.
Yeah.
Oh, I need Heart of Thorns, or I need Path of Fire.
Yeah.
Screw it. I want to be a raider. I'm in, and then you're hooked.
To be honest,
they opened that wallet. That's $50.
I've made a video about this exact topic, actually, Emmy, as it turns out, and they actually did do this. I don't know if I think you may have been away when this happened, but were you here for the secret lair of the snowman?
I did. No, I came at the end of it. I never knew what it was or how to do it.
Okay, so they actually added a single raid boss, right? To the core game, it was for a festival, right?
Yeah.
And it gave decent loot, actually. You'd get about 10 gold for doing it, I think, because it had something with a sigil attached to it, and a skin attached to it. And it was just for Winter's Day, right? Which is, I really hope they would keep it on, actually. But it actually had raid level mechanics, very easy. Bear in mind, like borderline unfailable. They talked about this on stream. Actually, 95% of groups that had 10 players were able to beat it, right? Okay, so that's easy mode, right? It is easy mode. Some people complain about it being too hard. Those people were like very small minority.
It was fun.
Yeah. It was fun.
A fun instance.
And it was a raid, in my opinion, it was legitimately a raid tier encounter.
That's what we need.
In fact, I actually crunched the numbers on it, Envy. It actually has more bosses, more mechanics than quite a good chunk of actual raid bosses. Right, this encounter, right?
So hear me out. So why can't there be, like, did you ever play Star Wars: The Old Republic?
I have not,
yes.
No. Oh, Inks has.
Actually, I don't know. How old were you? You're probably young. So wait, Inks, you played it, right?
Yes.
Do you remember being on the fleet the day that the plague epidemic happened?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, like, dude, Teapot, this was one of the coolest experiences. I mean, it's happened in other MMOs, I'm sure, but all of a sudden, someone on the fleet starts glowing green. You're like, the fleet is like the Imperial fleet, or basically the main place everybody hangs out, right? Where you can go to like a dungeon or whatever.
Lion's
Think of
Arch.
it as like Lion's Arch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a guy standing next to you, and he turns green. And it's like, oh, what the hell is this dude doing green? And then all of a sudden, he explodes like a puff of like sludge and smoke. And you're like, what the fuck? And you walk closer, and then it hits you. And all of a sudden, you've got it. And then you start dying. And you're like, wait, what is going on? And there's nothing about it in the patch. They didn't tell you. And you're like, my character's dying. Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, the game's like, an alarm goes off, and like there's an epidemic happening, and there's a story, and you're like, wait, what? And like you had to go teleport to this planet, all this storyline, and it was like kind of a meta event starts, but it happened all over the game in the major cities, and then you had to go grind out this like antidote. And it gave you a story. There was like dungeons attached to it. But why can't they do something like that in this game and then attach a quest line to it, a storyline to it on the core game that leads to a raid that then can somehow tie into more of the other raids? Like cutscenes are awesome. Like the Deimos cutscene when he comes jumping out, or Samrock, all that. Somehow show players that hey, all this other stuff is here. All you got to do is join up with the rest of 11 million players. Cue marketing, and then there you go. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. It was one of the cooler experiences I've ever had in MMO, and it doesn't seem it's too hard to set up.
Yeah, it's a difficult one with Guild Wars 2. The entire design philosophy is that basically everything is optional. Like they don't force you to do anything like that. They actually did this originally for the core story, right? Have you played through the core story, Envy? Like the actual base game?
Okay. I have Aurora, Teapot.
Yeah. Oh, do you have to do that?
You have to get like everything, man.
Yeah. But anyway, well, I guess you didn't do it at the time though, but the Ara story, right? The Ara story where you kill Zaitan. You used to actually have to do that with 5 people. You had to get a group to do it.
So you just go to like looking for group to
yeah. It was a dungeon in its own right. Like the dungeon actually was part of the end game. Right.
I do remember the dungeon because you can skip it now, or you can do it like solo, whatever. But dungeon, it's the one near the water near like the coast.
Yeah, and you go on the boats and you fight the dragon, right? But they scrapped that because people were like, I've got one friend, but I can't find 3 more, right? It's like that sort of look, Arena in a way. I don't even know what to say about this. Like ArenaNet is in a really weird spot because their game is, it doesn't force you to do anything, right? But this means if you put even here's the average person, okay, is 2 meters. Let's say they're like 180 centimeters, guys. Okay, if you put a hurdle in front of a Guild Wars 2 player that's 5 centimeters tall, they're gonna complain about it being too high to get over, right? Okay, they're so used to having nothing obstruct them in any way that if you put even a teeny tiny thing, right, people just trip over it and die, right? Okay. So, right. And, in a way, like we're spoiled. Like ArenaNet have coddled us way too much, right? They're way too nice to the player base. I mean, Arena need to go a bit Dark Souls, like you fucking trash, get good, right? But not even that, obviously, because even grouping up as 5 people is insane, right, dude? Oh my god, the Liadri shit, dude! Oh my god, people are so mad about Liadri, dude.
What is that?
There was like the Queen's Gauntlet stuff, right? And basically it's a series of it was a series of solo challenges, basically, right? Like you couldn't, and to be fair, if you were bad, you would not do it. Okay, you would never be able to do it, and you actually had to learn and actually improve. And people were very upset about that.
But you know what? At the same time, that was a good thing for content creators to then say, "Hey, this is the build I used, and this makes the fight easier," or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I know there's a portion of the community that hates looking at guides or hates going to YouTube for videos, but in a way, I think that's actually good for the overall game.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Queen's Gauntlet. The end boss is super difficult. If you want this, you should be, and you got a special mini and stuff for it, right? You should be rewarded for doing that with something special. I mean, I can remember World of Warcraft had it as well, but Rift had it. When you completed all the achievements in a raid, you got a special mount, a special looking mount. Why is that not a thing? Why is that not a thing for Guild Wars 2 or something like that? You need to have those rewards that mean something to have, like the chair, the gold chair, for example. Yeah. Yes, there's ones on the gem store or whatever, but everybody knows they're gem store chairs.
Right.
So you need to have, when you have the difficult content, you need to support the difficult content as well.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that Freezy was temporary. I guess we'll see him back. I hope they do a Mad King one, like a Mad King raid for 10 people or whatever at Halloween. But certainly, I think those single boss encounter raids are things that they should look at doing. Like in WoW, you had Onyxia for the longest time. Such a fun fight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a single boss encounter, really, but such a great raid. And Guild Wars 2 could really capitalize on stuff like that, I think.
I think it could also really capitalize with what Envy was saying, as it stands right now, the core game, as in core Guild Wars 2, it really gives you... It doesn't do its job very well, right? Like, the free-to-play component of the game, if you played only core, you would not, in my opinion, get a good impression of what the game is actually like. Because core game maps, even open world, is so different, right, from Path of Fire maps and Heart of Thorns maps, that it's not the way. The comparison here is RuneScape, right? If you in RuneScape, if you play in the core game, like the free to play edition, right, you can get a pretty good idea of how the game's mechanics are, right? Like it's pretty similar. There is some stuff that you can't see, and to be fair, maybe this is slightly not the best example. Actually, seeing as a lot of like the end game bosses are all mostly behind the sub feed, but I think it's still a decent example actually. But there's you can't properly experience Guild Wars 2 unless you've actually fully bought it, right? Like you don't get a good flavor. And I think a lot of people try the free to play and they kind of go like, yeah, okay, maybe this game doesn't really have too much to it, right? Like they play the open worlds of it's a bit, it's a bit meh, right? And they don't really get into the game as a result of that. So I think like adding stuff to the core game might actually be a really good idea. Thought about that actually. That's a very, very good point. Because in a way, it doesn't make too much difference, I suppose, in a way, because like all the players, if they added a new raid, right, all the players who have bought Path of Fire are still going to play it, right? They're still going to log back into it and then maybe buy something on the gem store about it, right? They're still going to get invested in that content. And in addition to that, right, that they might play on their like shitty core classes and then go, damn, dude, I want to play what this guy was playing. This guy was doing some mad DPS, dude. He was a beast. I want to play that class, right? But and then how do I play that class? You buy the expansions, right? Like, I want to be a quickness man. I want to be this really OP heal build, right? Oh, well, you better buy the expansion then, hadn't you, buddy? That sort of thing. That is another concern as well, though. They'd have to really undertune those raids because I'm not gonna lie, guys. Core specs and PvE, trash. Okay, as in not just bad, but mega bad. Okay, that's where you might have some issues with that as well. Like, they'd probably be very, very undertuned, but maybe that will be okay. Just for a one-off boss to give people a flavor, like what raid content is in Guild Wars 2, and it would certainly help get it out there as well. As we were saying earlier, like a lot of people just kind of go, raids in Guild Wars 2, is that a thing, right?
Yeah, they just don't know.
Yeah, people just don't know. They just unironically don't know, and I think in a way ArenaNet don't like to advertise raids, I guess, because of the elitism aspect. Like, yeah, dude, raids are toxic, right? Raids promote this toxic environment. Our game is zero toxicity, only mega PMA in our game, right?
Right. Go to SPC, remember this week. Well, no, I mean, I love that point, but like, I mean, like right now, like, what's the purpose of us going to do? I know, go back to this, but going to do dungeons. There's not really a purpose to go do dungeons, but if they can add layers, the dungeons in this game are great. The storyline is great. The raids are great. Like, the open world is great. Add layers on top of what they've already made that it works and make it work better. World v. World is the best open world, large scale PvP period on any MMO. I will. You can't change my mind on that. I've played all the other games. I can show you clips of people being just DC'd and lagging for hours and nothing happening, and people walking through walls and killing the gate, and like, game's over. In other MMOs, this game, it actually works. Yeah, it's rough, but it works. But if we just made it fun and better and like add rewards and just work on the core stuff, we have tons of stuff to do. Like, how many core dungeons are there in this game, not counting Fractal? 10,
is it 8? I honestly have no idea. I don't play dungeons, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, but hello, here's a guy who can probably tell you like half the NPCs' names in the game and who's literally done it all, and you've probably 4-man killed raids, but you don't know, the dungeon. So give us a reason for players that are new to want to do them, but players that are also veteran, like, I want to go back and revisit this because there's another hard mode of it, or it gives you this gear, or I don't know. Just add something to it, because other games do it and they do it so well. Why can't we do it with, or even a looking for group system for it that actually works?
Dungeons are really weird. They're in a very weird spot, in my opinion, in Guild Wars 2, because they are so different to any other content in the game that they may not have a place, and they're never going to get updated, because basically no one at the company, as I understand it, really knows how they work anymore. So I mean, it's just they're gone, right? Like dungeons are not going to come back. They've been basically replaced by fractals. Fractals are dungeons in Guild Wars 2. That's what a dungeon is in Guild Wars 2, and I think that's kind of fine. I don't really have much of a problem with that. I think that's okay to have it that way. Because I think fractals are pretty good. They serve their purpose well. But yeah, I think dungeons are a bit odd, because I think it really gives a really interesting a bit of a weird impression of the game, because that's actually going to be... It's funny when we think about this, because I have never gone through coming into the game fresh anymore, right? I only play the end game because, well, that I've reached the end game. That's just how it works, right? You get to the end game in an MMO. That's what happens, right? But coming into the game, you are going to actually encounter dungeons even as you level, and you're going to experience that content. And it's such a... If I think about it from the perspective of a new player, what the game actually is at endgame compared to the leveling experience is so bizarrely different that, yeah, I can understand people getting a really odd impression about the game. So, to be honest, dungeons maybe shouldn't be... They shouldn't build on the system, but they should honestly maybe be almost replaced in a way
find them
by something else, or they could definitely do with an update to make them more in line with how the game works now. Because it might be okay. So we can use a car analogy. It's like imagine if those cars you sometimes see that have a door that's just a different color. Just randomly, right? Like someone's had the door replaced, but they couldn't get the same color. That's kind of what dungeons are to me, right? In the games, the rest of the game is this nice, deep shade of blue, and then you've got this bright red door, right, or something like that. It's just this weird relic. Of how the game used to be, but it really isn't like that anymore at all, right? Dungeons are the content that ArenaNet forgot even existed was in the game, right? And they're just like, oh yeah, okay, well I guess that's just there now, and it just never really got updated or changed in any way, right? So yeah, I don't know. There you go. It's a bit of an odd one. What have you liked, Red? Well, yeah, I think that's why they need to be updated to kind of bring it back into the mix, Why Guild Wars?
I will say.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I will say this though. One of my problems with Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire was the fact that there were no dungeons added to either of those expansions. And I think when you're selling an expansion for an MMORPG, one of the things players look for right away is, where are the dungeons? Because if you're buying a WoW expansion or ESO or Final Fantasy, they have dungeons. And they have them on launch day, right? And even though we have fractal dungeons,
it's so exciting. Yeah.
Even though we have fractal dungeons, there aren't fractals ready when those expansions launch either, really. So, and even if there is, there's one, and one is just not enough. When another MMO does expansions, they add several new dungeons with new looking gear and new bosses to fight and so forth. And if they had kept up with it, then the Heart of Thorns dungeons and the Path of Fire dungeons would have been well tuned to
the new how it's built,
the new specs and stuff.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. I remember when WoW released its new expansion, right? You're at max level currently. The new level comes out. You level. You unlock certain dungeons, and you do them leveling up. There's story level. And then you get max level, and there's a max level version of it. Then there's the heroic version of it, the mythic level version of it, and then mythic plus. All the same dungeon, all the same content, mind you, but you just change it, and it gets difficult, or the rewards get better, and things change. And I mean, there is players that almost everyone could do the heroic level if you had the gear. But with this game, it's not so much the gear as is it the correct comp, or this boss. The way he heals, he will heal through power damage. But if you put enough poison on him through having a Condi in your group, he won't be able to use that heal. So do different things to make the game, the mechanics that Guild Wars 2 does well, tie them into it. But it's so fun to be able to do the same, to me, be able to do the same dungeon on different tiers, same boss, but it changes it. It adds a new effect or, whatever. I mean, an example, you could just say, lowest level, it's a loot pinata. You're in there for the story, you're in there for the cutscene, you got to get through it. You hit a highest level, there's phases to where the boss will randomly flash and put out a retaliation. If you're just blindly running through your rotation, you're going to kill yourself. So, do things that work for Guild Wars 2 in the way they do their mechanics. But, I mean, so many other MMOs do it successfully and keep the content around. And it's a blast. I mean, like, I still think the only reason I played WoW so long is because of Mythic Plus, and it was such a really cool system. And I really think other MMOs could adopt their version of it and make it their way, their child, and do really, really well.
And as far as loot goes, ArenaNet already has more recently added weapon skins that have a base version that you could give out as a lower level reward, and then by doing the CM or heroic mode or whatever the heck you want to call it, you get components to upgrade that weapon into the shinier, cooler version.
Very cool.
Or whatever the case is. So even the loot system, or the loot that you could get that would be better, sort of already exists in the game on some level.
Very cool. I did not know that.
In a way, we do see that sort of thing as well, but it's mostly in the open world content. They've added some pretty cool upgradable weapons and stuff like that you can kind of progress through. But I think, that's where it stops, though, right? Like, it would be really cool if all these systems got joined together. And does that entire thing kind of describes Guild Wars 2 in a way. Like, all of the game modes are very separate, right? Like, everything feels very separate. Each map feels completely separate from another map, right? Like, fractals are just completely separate from raids, right? Like, they did actually try and bring this together. Like, for example, in Legendary Armor, you had to do some fractals, right, to get that done. But we don't see anything like that anymore. And to be honest, this is mostly because of rewards. And this is, I'm not even flaming it, guys. Like, you're going to put fucking Omega Law in the chat, but basically almost every reward in the game is either gem store or it's casual open world content, right? Like, that's just completely face roll. There's never much of a crossover between game modes. Like, and how cool would it be if you had to PvP world versus world raid, do fractals, and do open world to obtain some of these rewards, right? Like, to unlock a mount skin, right, or to unlock a weapon skin or some armor, like a true another legendary. This will never happen, by the way, but a true legendary armor set, right? But it's like Guild Wars 2 Legendary Armor. You've got a PvP, world versus world. You've got a raid, right? You've got to do all the open world stuff, do loads of other stuff. Do stuff in the story. Why the fuck not, right? Okay? I really integrate the game, bring the game together, right? And make it, kind of tie over stuff between these game modes and kind of make the game a game as a whole instead of being so isolated and separate, right? That is really, really depressing, right? It kind of sucks. I think the game is just too isolated from itself. Yeah, you have to be rank 1 legend you have to be god of PvP. Dude, imagine the win trading. Like, imagine how hard people would win trade. Holy shit. No, never. They should never do that. Okay, don't make it for rank 1. That would be a serious mistake.
With that point though, it is funny that, like, sometimes if it's a low reward hurdle for certain things, like, here we have this. So say Alliance come out, right? And TeaTime Alliance is rank 1. You the boys and girls have just gone, and you guys have, like, you're just the top. When you're in the world, you're on the EVG map, you're on the the Isles map. You have, like, an effect that only that group can carry, and while you are that group, you have it. Or, and then the second one has one. Just an example, when you kill a beast in, I can't think of the name of the map in SPVP, and you get the little orb that floats over your shoulders.
Yeah.
Something that little to a top team or to a top guild or to the top, it's like, oh shit, we have this. You don't have that. It's the same thing as, like, when you have a legendary. The first time you saw someone, the first time a thief walked by you with Incinerator, you were like, oh shit, what is that? Like, just something that's a low hurdle. It's not hard to do. Hard to implement to the game, but gives you an effect that you get, that's something to go for. Because in MMOs, you play them because you set a goal. You want to go for that legendary. You want to go for the title. You want to go for the completion. Just it's another little thing they can add to kind of give a little layer to it.
Well, yeah, I think we do see that. We've seen that exactly once, rather. One of the best rewards they've ever added to the game was for winning the monthly automated tournament, right? With your fancy little hat you can get. One of the best things they ever put in the game. It was a very good decision. I think stuff like that for all game modes will be really incredible. And I would even say stuff like Fractal God, even as simple as Fractal God, this very long-term reward, right? That gives you a very small incremental benefit. I think people love account progression. One of the things that we've always been promised in Guild Wars 2 is horizontal progression, okay? And they have taken that approach to mean the mastery system, okay? And that is bullshit, okay? Masteries are not horizontal progression at all. They are meaningless XP farms, okay, that are done in like seconds, right? See, Ben's taking credit for those gizmos and he's on it 100%. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
okay?
like those gizmos to me are like, I mean, I know they're very tough to get. I mean, even for the teams that get them, they're still tough to get. But like what you said, having them in other modes, having them in World v World, having them in fractals, and not as a rare drop, like as a maybe it's a rare drop, but like as something you can
have it for prestige, right? The thing is,
for winning.
This actually happened in Wing 5, in my opinion. Like but they fucked it up. I mean, they gave you the Doom bench, right, for killing Doom, right? It was a very rare drop. But you know what they did? They put it on the trading post. You can buy it for 400 gold now, right? So it's a worthless reward, right? Because anyone can have it now, right? It's a totally worthless reward. Even though even worse, actually, it used to be unique. It was the only thing of its kind. And then they whacked it in the gem store as well. But is that okay? So yeah, I don't know. Like having something that actually can make you as a player feel special is, it's a pretty big deal, right? It's but that's just something that is really, it's not a big deal. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not really the case so much, right? It's a lot of these game modes give you stuff that you can just get while doing other game modes as well. Like I think forcing you to do a certain game mode to get a certain reward is a really big deal because it adds a level of prestige to it. Like prestige is really important. Like knowing that someone worked to get that thing is a really big deal, right? And I think that's why the monthly AT stuff works out so well. Is because that's the only way you can get it. You can't buy that for gold. You can buy it for $400, but that's that ain't gold, right? Okay, you talk to the right guys, you can get that set up. You know what I'm saying? That you can have that, guys. But yeah, Gems to Gold ruins Guild Wars 2 rewards. To be honest, that's an interesting thing to say, but I think that's only the case because almost all the rewards are on the gem store. But
I think it complicates the rewards, but yeah,
it does complicate things, absolutely, right? But I don't know.
The gem store should have some cool stuff in it. Like, don't get me wrong, it really should, but it should also have equal, if not, equal and better stuff in the game as well. But I mean. Like my buddy just bought the game this weekend, like Friday. He worked 24-hour shifts Saturday. He's on today. He logs in. He goes, "All right, what out of the gym store do I need?" And immediately, someone in my chat who knows who he's a very famous person from BDO. Someone immediately says, "You need T4 pets, inventory space, and wake," which is like something you have to have in BDO that costs like $200. And everybody starts laughing. But the first thing he wants to do is, what out of the cash shop do I got to get? And all it was salvage-o-matic, and I think. Like infinite gathering tool. So I mean, like he bought a costume. He bought but I mean, we need to have some stuff in there that it's when you look at it, you're like, yo, I don't know what that is, but I want that. But it's also you need to have enough in the game to where the players are, incentivizing the game. Like, oh, I don't care. That's the cash up one. I'm not a guy that's going to open my wallet for gems. I got this one though. You have to go grind this one out. Good luck getting this one. But we don't really have too much of that. I did like the fact that Gen 2 legendaries can't be bought. That actually saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a really big deal, and I think that's why the Gen 2 legendaries are a lot better. It's a real shame that only the first few of them had the quest attached. Like after that, you can effectively just buy them, right? When I crafted, I was pretty hyped to get the Snake Scepter, right? One of my favorite, probably my favorite legendary in the game, like the Snake Scepter. Snake Scepter, guys, Snake Scepter.
Big
and
snake.
My journey to crafting it was I AFK'd in Lion's Arch for 15 minutes and bought stuff on the trading post. Like, oh wow, what a legendary experience that was, guys. Feels good.
Have you made Astrolabe? Yeah.
No, I haven't made Astrolaria, no.
So you have to like do stuff at nighttime. Like they incorporated like the daytime and nighttime into the quest. And it's like, oh yeah, you need to go stand here and do this at this point on this part of the map. Oh, it's not working. Oh, it has to be nighttime. Like, what? Like, I didn't even know there was, I mean, I know there's a night cycle to the Verdant Brink, but I didn't know like in the other parts of the world. And so making Astrolaria was actually an amazing, fun experience. And it's probably one of the best legendaries overall to me. I don't get to use it enough, but it was real. Like I worked with Grim and some other guys were making it. But it was fun. You craft these different items. You had to go use those items you crafted at different parts of the map to get the achievement, to get to the next part. And the collection took a while. It was gated, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. And like, again, I made Ipos not long after. I think Ipos is just one you just buy the materials and crank it out. So I like the collection.
Yeah, no, I rated. I like stuff like that. And it was too much work, right? And, well, I mean, this is something that I will never let go because I'm not going to lie. I know this is probably painful for ArenaNet to even talk about, but it's so funny to me. Okay, Heart of Thorns came out in 2015, right? And we're now, did it? I think something like that. Okay, and we're now getting the legendaries that were supposed to come packaged with that expansion. Like the final one will be coming now. I mean, so I imagine it's a bit of a touchy subject, but I see the funny side now, Envy. Okay, like I realized that the story of legendaries in Guild Wars 2, it wasn't a tragedy. It was a comedy. It's funny now. But yeah, we're getting there in the end, guys. We're getting in there.
What's a real shame about that is legendary weapons, armor, whatever, could be huge selling points for further expansions. And because of the problems they had with Heart of Thorns, and we're just getting Gen 2 finished now after all these years, you don't have, you're not going to see that if there is another expansion or when there's another expansion for Guild Wars 2. And I think that's, again, just like not having Dungeons Day 1, I think that's another problem when it comes to the expansions themselves. Even Legendary Armor that they've now since added to, say, World vs. World, it's kind of cool. It's got the tentacles or whatever, but it's not the same quality as the Raid one, which took them 1 year twice. It's a shame we're not going to get more of that because I think the looks in Guild Wars 2 is what you're selling. And without having those looks and that shininess and so forth, or the special effects, so to call it, I think that's a real shame for the game as a whole.
Why can't we have a shine to what your point was earlier? Like in WoW, if you completed, I don't know I can't remember how it works, but if you kill the raid on a certain difficulty within a certain time frame, which is, I mean, if you know how to click your buttons in the right order, it's doable. It's not so much you, it's more so the group. But you got a mount. Then if you did achievements in all the raids, because raids have achievements, you got another mount. But why can't there be just a simple mount skin for, say, a raptor that if you complete all the CMs and all the raids and you've got it all done, you unlock a mount skin that's nothing too flashy, but like you're not going to see anyone with that skin. It's like, oh wow, that person has that skin. Like they've done Voice of the Void, they've done it all.
Yeah, and it needs to, in my opinion, stuff like that needs to happen for the game. Don't get me wrong, I understand Guild Wars 2 needs to make money, and I am not holding that against them, but they've got plenty of mount contracts and licensing and 2,000 gem skins. They could easily pick a couple of mounts out and just insert them into the game as a way to earn it, as well as gliders when that was a bigger thing. You can forego a couple of those and still make plenty of money on the gem store with the other fancy-looking Halloween ones and Winters ones and Shatterer and so on and so forth.
And to your point, make the ones harder to get, like you said.
Sure.
Like don't make it's like, oh, you complete the story, you get a mount skin. Yeah, you get to get the basic one anyways. But if you complete the story, you do all the raids, you do all the CMs, and then I mean, I hate to say it, but some people will want that mount but don't know how to raid. So then you increase in-game services. Touchy subject. Then people like Teapot and friends can sell the runs and make it in gold, which they could use to buy legendaries, which is what I did in Final Fantasy 14. There was a rare weapon and you had to kill all the primals and stuff, and I would sell that, or I would sell the mount, and the mount was a rare drop, and we would just sell you so many runs at a cheap price. And people hated me for it. Like, They've been spam report. When I was in Guild Wars 2 on my first day, someone's like, "Are you Envy Noir from Final Fantasy 14?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Fuck you." I was like, "Whoa, whoa." I'm like, "What?" And someone else is like, "Oh, hey, my wife and I bought our runs to you. You let us get our weapons." Like, it's in-game services. Most MMOs even protect the people who sell in-game services, but it creates, the secret sauce with MMO is playing with other people.
Well, this is another entire can of worms in Guild Wars 2. Like, Guild Wars 2 is a spectacularly antisocial game, right? Like you could play the entire game effectively single player, right? With like with like bots running around. Okay, that's kind of what it is. Like there's never any content that's really going to force you to interact with another person. I was like, well, that's kind of a good thing, right? But honestly, in an MMO, no, it's not, okay? Because it makes the game feel spectacularly dead and the community very, very blech, and I think it generates a huge amount of apathy as well in the community. Like, people are very lazy, right? They as soon as there's something that requires them to kind of group up and play with other people, it kind of just it all falls apart, and people say like, "Oh, why are you making us do this?" Right? Like, "Oh, you can't do it." I can't find all my friends for the raid. It's too much. I can't do it. It's a bit of an unfortunate situation there with the game. I do wish the game was more social. Actually, I do wish it was a lot more social.
I think it's why. Like, does Path of Fire even have metas that people do?
You know what is so sad? That ArenaNet added a really great meta event in Vabi.
Yeah.
Okay, a really great. Yeah. I actually really enjoy it. I do it a fair bit now.
I've never done any there.
And no one does it because it requires you to be not completely retarded. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. And it's considered.
Well, I'm out.
Yeah. We're all out on that one.
Okay. And it's a really good event with two really cool bosses, right? A Hydra and a Snake guy. And it basically requires you to use break bros, right? You need to do the CC. You need to do CC, and this is something that people are just cannot do, right? And so the map is totally barren. To be fair, the rewards actually suck as well. If the rewards were good, people would do it. Obviously, they'd learn it and get good. But the rewards are just there's nothing. You don't get anything with doing it. Basically, nothing. Like 1 gold or something like that. It's pretty rough, and nothing is really unique from there as well. But so the event is really cool, but because it doesn't really give you anything, and because it requires you to not be AFK, no one does it, and it's really sad because it actually requires you to work as a team and actually do something, right? Like every other event in the game is basically an AFK face roll fiesta, right? Like any event that's even remotely challenging, like Triple Trouble Worm or Chat Garant, either gets nerfed, okay, or no one does it, like, or you have to wait for a guild who's dedicated to do it, dedicated to.
Why can't we add some more things to the game that are like, yeah, people are gonna be there, like you, like with Heart of Thorns metas, if you're late, you're not on the map, like you messed up, shit, I missed it. But I mean, tech, I think almost every day, or not every day, like every time is up. Yeah, and reset. And you got to be there 20-30 minutes early sometimes. But why can't we have a couple more of those? But I know tech drops in Ascendant weapons, and I know we're trying to work on our rewards. What is something we could add, or ArenaNet could add, to maybe a new world? I mean, do new world bosses come out with expansions?
With expansions, they do. Path of Fire didn't really have that many. They added They added the bounty system, which was kind of
the bounty system,
which was an okay idea, but I think it's no replacement for meta events, in my opinion. Like, the scale isn't there, right? I think having some bosses is cool. But I really think that the scale of something like Dragon Stand or Tequathel, Triple Trouble is just so epic, right? It makes it's a very immersive experience. So bounties feel kind of almost like tacked on, like they're not really, there's nothing about the world, there's no lore to them, there's no story or anything like that. And I know I'm going to sound like a massive RP here, but I think that's a really important thing in an MMO RPG, guys. Okay, and that's what, in my opinion, what this actually comes down to. And you know how we often meme on role players, but I actually think that's something that's massively lacking from Guild Wars 2 is the RP factor, right? I think it's an MMO, right? But I don't think it's a role playing game. Right, and that is I think it's a really sad thing. Right, it feels like everything is very disconnected. It feels almost like you're just you portal between these little activities that you do. It's like it's the ultimate theme park MMO, right?
Well, I mean, I think tech is a lot of. I think the world bosses are great. I don't know. I'm a world boss guy. Like in BDO, they had them, and the games they have, but like you go to the world boss. I mean, I've never got anything rare from Tech. I've gotten some rare from Fractals. Angels was pretty happy about that one. But like, why can't there be the endless fractal tonic of a new world boss? Is like, oh, here's the world boss. It has these like 6 rare items. This one's pretty common. You'll get it within probably a month. This one's pretty rare. You may never get it. You may get it in a year. These 3, you may know someone that gets it. And this one, you don't know anyone that has it. You've just heard of someone that has it.
Well, they have the thing that they have the thing that's so rare that you will never going to get it, which is like the Chuck egg sack stuff.
Yeah, add more of that. Just do more. It works. People go
does
for
work. It does work, but there's none of the mid-tier stuff. I think the mid-tier stuff is important as well, right? Like there needs to be like a drop that's kind of rare, but not that rare, right? But that's something that just doesn't exist. Like it's either insanely common and completely free, right? Or like fuck you, RNG, right? You're never gonna get it, right?
I think you're right. We need that middle ground.
Yeah, stuff's the middle ground. And I want to talk about expansions. Actually, this is something that I want to bring up because you guys are talking about like all these features, how they need to upgrade it. Now this might be a bit of a tough issue for all the players who are currently playing the game. What do you guys think will be better for the game? Like releasing these pieces of content like alliances, tournament Swiss rework, new elite specializations, masteries, maps, bosses. What do you think's actually better? Do you think it's better to release them piecemeal, like as you go around the year? Or do you think it would be good to save up all of that content and bam, relaunch, expansion, let's go? Kind of thing, like to package it all up and then go new Fractal, new raid, okay, on launch on the expansion, like raid, because I think this is something that has so lacked in Guild Wars 2 expansions, even in Heart of Thorns, right? In Heart of Thorns, okay, there was no end game, right? There was nothing, no end game until afterwards.
Raids launched
a few months after,
right?
Yeah, a few months after, but I think but why not hit some kind of endgame content, right, at the same time as the expansion launch,
right? And I think that's why dungeons are sort of missed, so much in Guild Wars 2, because for raids, for me anyway, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I kind of like the way like even World of Warcraft started to do it, where they hold the raid for 2 or 3 weeks, let's say, less than a month, but 2 or 3 weeks I think is sort of the sweet spot. Hold that raid for 2 or 3 weeks after launch. But it needs to be complete. You can't be still working on it. It needs to be done so that you can just flip a switch and it's ready to go. But in the meantime, you do need other end game stuff. You need fractals or dungeons or whatever on launch day, so that people who want to play the story can play the story, and those who want to do end game dungeons or whatever can start doing that right away and get ready for raids, which are going to come in like 2 weeks or so. And that gives you time to do the story and other stuff.
You're making so much sense. You're about to be ArenaNet Inks. Go keep that up. But he's right. Like when an expansion comes out, you get ready, you get prepared, you're doing all these things. And I think that like succession would be really cool. Like Netflix, when a show comes out, they give it to you all at once. You binge watch it, you don't sleep, you're mad at your friends, and you get to the end and 11's not gone. But why can't we have it to where in this game it's like, here's the new stuff that's coming out. We're gonna get you a little taste. We're gonna do this. Here's some elite specializations. Here's some story. Here's some dungeons. Here's a new mount. And then not even tell us, but like just let it happen. Be like, I love the fact that the Griffin wasn't like in the game.
Yeah.
What like when I went and got it, someone's like, yeah, Emmy, did you know this wasn't available? It was available, but nobody knew. I thought that stuff was so cool.
And I had a really good experience with that because I was playing through the story, and I think I was in the 3rd Path of Fire map. I was playing through slowly, but I was on like the 3rd Path of Fire map, and this griffin lands next to me, next to this heart. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I want that, whatever it is. And I'm whispering the guy, and I'm like, how did you get that? I know it's not one of the mounts that was advertised or shown in the game, but it added such a level of excitement. It's like, I want that mount. Like, how the heck did you get that, dude? It was such a great moment that we don't get enough of, unfortunately.
And that's like it comes back to the whole rewards things. When we work on rewards, like if you can just start adding like check exec, out of control rare, but let's bring something down to where it's like Teapot has a stream. You know what, guys? I want this item. Let's go get it. The meta spawns, say 4 times a day. You have, maybe once a day or chance, or maybe maybe as long as you do it, you have a chance. I don't know what makes sense.
That's another side issue, I think. Like, if you wanted to say grind Chak Exac, you can only do it once a day. They time gate you on how many times you can try. Even though the event happens more than once a day, you can only try once a day, right? This to me is a really bad piece of design philosophy. Well, not bad. It's not bad. Like,
it's bad behavior.
I disagree with it. I disagree with that piece of design philosophy. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to deny grinding to people, right? Okay, you can't deny. You can do it each time the meta pops up, but you don't get there's no chance of the drop though. You don't get the drop. You can only you don't get.
You only get the trophy thing once.
Yep.
Well, what if you keep the trophy thing once, but the other more common that are still incredibly rare, you can farm. And then if you're going for, the level C rare item, and in the process you're like, holy shit, I got the rarest one. And
I just I just disagree fundamentally with not allowing players to grind, right? I think I just think that you should be able to grind if you want to, right? For in anything, in any game, right? It's funny, like Guild Wars 2 is play how you want unless you want to really go hard on the game. It's kind of funny when you think about it, right? Like they won't let you do that, but you know what? They'll let you do everything else, But it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. But to kind of go back to the expansion thing, then does that mean we kind of agree that they should actually, in a way, release the story content and then drop an expansion and actually make it feature rich? Because so far, all the expansions, in a way, have added Path of Fire literally was 4 living story episodes at the same time, basically, in my opinion. It was, they just dropped a load of story in one go, right? But they didn't add, anything other than that, right? There was, after you beat the story, that was, I'm done, right? That's it. Right, where do I go from here? And the answer is nowhere. So maybe they do need to, in a way, wait for an expansion, and then they say, guys, then market it hard. Right, I want to see Twitch ads, YouTube ads. Dude, have you seen the billboards? They've got billboards up, man, in New York City, right, and LA. Wow.
Wait, Guild Wars does?
Yeah, have you seen this? Yeah,
right now?
Yeah, they put billboards up in New York City and LA. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
how
cool.
Crazy is that, right? So maybe, maybe they do need to actually save alliances, reward restructure, okay? For
whoa.
With the billboards, they need to. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
out of context. Yeah, no, but Germany's a huge market for Guild Wars. It always has been, and they need to be. They need them billboards up there.
That's true. Yeah. Absolutely, and that's why they even have German servers, right? They've got German servers for that exact reason. But yeah, absolutely, just do it, right? Let's just go hard. Let's get in the mix, and really relaunch the game, because I think that is what it needs. As that is actually against my own interest, guys. I'm saying that against my own interest, because honestly, I feel right now like I'm playing the game purely because I enjoy streaming, right? Okay, not because I particularly have something to do in the game, right? Like the idea of waiting even more time for another raid actually fills me with horror. Okay, it's been over 200 days, right? It's like 210 days since the last raid wing. Okay, but to be honest, you know what? I like this game so much, okay, and I trust in the developers, and I trust in ArenaNet, that I would actually take the hit and wait like another 6 months if we actually got a proper relaunch of the game and it revitalized interest and it got players back. It really made Guild Wars 2 a thing again, right? And with new fractals on launch, dungeons, not dungeons, probably not dungeons, but raids, a raid on launch, right? Why the fuck not? Raid on launch, let's go. New elite specializations, massive changes to world versus world. Like, you know what? Don't just give us single player once playthrough content in expansion. Give us repeatable, either repeatable content for the PvE stuff, right? Or player-driven content with a new world versus world system, new tournament system, okay? Revamp the tournaments a little bit, give them a bit more, give them a bit of a spruce up, Swiss, okay? New rewards, boom, okay? Get people playing PvP again, fix the problems. Like right now, one of the biggest complaints about PvP is that the matches feel unfair and skewed. Why is that? It's because the population is so low that skill rating does not really represent, okay, your actual skill, right? Okay, you can have players who are all at basically the same rating, but like 3 of them utter fucking trash. Okay, the other 7 really good, and you can have 5 good players on one team, and then like 3 apes on one team with 2 good players on the other team. That's not going to go well for the 3 and the 2, right? Like the reason that people always complain, oh, the matchmaking is so bad. Oh, Joke, was fucking up PvP. Nah, dude, like PvP is fucked because skill rating is just like meaningless because of how low the population is. Like the algorithm's trying its best, but it can't do it, right? It doesn't do it very well. Okay. I think that in a way, we as the players need to be a little bit less greedy and just say, you know what, we actually might have to kind of take a bit of a hit here and wait until ArenaNet have a lot and they can do a proper relaunch of the game. Because to be frank, that's what the game needs. The game needs a relaunch. Yeah. It doesn't need living story every fucking 4 months or whatever it's going to end up being, and 3 raid bosses every year. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, we need a proper relaunch to be honest, guys, we need money going into ArenaNet, right? Okay, they need to get that cash, have that massive presence on Twitch. Like, fuck it, get Shroud likes MMOs. Fucking get his ass playing this game, okay? Just pay all the bloody streamers to do it, okay? Just have some money, throw it at him, right? I just get the game in the mix, right? Yeah, we do it. Let's think about World do more than AFK. Well, this is the thing about World vs. World, right? Like the reward system is a bit of a meme, okay? You could just like AFK.
Shroud stream this game. That would be insane. He's like considered one of the top. He's at over 100k subs.
Yeah,
I mean, taking over Ninja.
Yeah. So yeah, just get some eyes on the game, right? Like marketing is, really, really important. And just let's go relaunch. Okay, advertise the game for what it's good at. Okay, and what is it good at? It's good at combat system. Okay, and it has good systems. Right? Nothing. It's good at nothing. The game is trash. No. No. Okay, we're not.
No, but your idea works. Look what BDO did, and like Jay just mentioned this, and he just added me in your stream. BDO did BDO remastered. They literally put like a sweet effects. I mean, I'm not gonna. It looks damn good.
Yo, BDO is well,
like their new remastered version. It looks great. You have to run it in that, but it brought so many people back.
Yeah, it's very successful.
So here's a question you two might know more about than I do.
Yeah,
but there's that DX12 extension or something you can currently run. Mm-hmm. I don't know how well it works or whatever. I've heard mixed things about it, but is that something that ArenaNet could add to the game as well?
I mean, I think they could, but I think because of the way it works, it's basically... if DirectX 12, DirectX 9, they're like 2 different languages. It's basically just a translator, right? It's not actually running the game in DirectX 12, right? It's translating the calls over, right, to the other thing. So it's not quite as good. It is actually effective though. It works quite well. Like for example, I actually saw a pretty significant increase in performance by running it, especially in places like World versus World and in places in raids. It prevents your FPS from going low, basically, rather than doing that. But could they do something like that? In theory, they could. I think, though, because of the way it works, it will inherently always be buggy and a bit susceptible to crashing all over the place. And it does have some instability, which is why I imagine they would be very much loath to do it, right? And I completely understand that, right? You cannot have your game being unstable, right? Like, you can't have that.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, some people in chat, I'm not trying to say that they should do a DX12 rework because that's an entire engine overhaul or start from scratch. But as someone said, a wrapper or just add a translator so that it smooths things out a little bit would be kind of nice. But if it's super buggy and it crashes a lot still, then ArenaNet's not going to go down that path, fortunately.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, right? That is understandable. Build templates are coming, dude. Okay, build templates are coming. They said this in the roadmap, man. So yeah,
that's just ArenaNet talking dirty, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
But like when I thought it was April Fool's. I did not think it was real, and then someone's like, "No, it's legit." I remember I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, "This is real," and like it was like a bunch of us had all like tweeted it within a short amount of time, and I was like, oh my god, like this is happening. And then it was like legendary runes and sigils. Like, shut up! I was like, oh my god, like I'm going in and like keep that up. You see what it did to us?
How would you?
So have you guys talked at all about legendary runes and sigils and what you think that is?
I think I probably know what it is. It's just going to be you can pick any rune or any sigil, right? I mean, they're not going to make it power creep. I hope not. Anyway.
Right.
So I mean, that's probably not the most exciting thing in the entire world. It sounds kind of hype, right? Because legendary, but it's just gonna be you're able to pick anything, right? You can have anything you
Right,
want.
but that selector
It's going to be a big one.
kind of awesome.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, Boots is not here, unfortunately, but I know Boots would be pretty excited. His complaint has always been for his bad builds is that how much it costs him to switch all his runes and sigils around. So for somebody like him, or even those guys who do the DPS checks and all that kind of stuff, I think legendary runes and sigils is really nice. It's a quality of life thing.
Yeah, I think that's basically what it's going to come down to. Yeah, it's going to be very much a quality of life thing. But yeah, when it comes to this sort of thing with the relaunch and all these new features, I think packaging it all together and like having a really hype relaunch would really work out well, right? Like, oh yeah, do legendary runes. You know, I mean, one of the things, like if you look at some of the old, particularly World of Warcraft, like look at the WoW trailers, they would say, yeah, new profession, right? Like new profession,
right?
Which is, you know, new crafting profession in Guild Wars 2, right? You could, dude, chef, ascended chef, like grandmaster chef, or whatever it's called, right? Okay, and jewel crafting, right? Like throw that in there because we know that's coming, right? Build templates, they're in the feature. To be honest, now this might be, what do you guys think about this? What if they just gave away Heart of Thorns? They made Heart of Thorns like part of the core experience at that point, because that might actually be a better trial for the game in a way, right? Because if you got 3 expansions, you're gonna want to buy all of them, right? To go, not just the latest.
Yeah,
one.
I think
what
doing
about
their
giving away
50% off. I think doing their 50% off sales are working pretty well for them. I would just keep running those ads. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess
even
so, right?
like let's say expansion 3 comes. I would even say expansion 3 is coming. Path of Fire, Heart of Thorns, 50% off. Let's bundle it together. Let's do this. You can get everything you need, everything from the game, includes story packs, you know, season 3, season 4, season 5, whatever. You get everything 50% off. Let's bundle it together. Let's make some cash.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, of course.
I mean, I don't think they need to. I understand what you're saying because Heart of Thorns is more representative of
the game, what it is now,
of the game itself.
Yeah. So,
over core, but I don't know. I don't know that that needs to be part of the free-to-play experience.
Yeah, I just
maybe
it really concerns me when I think about the core game. I just think like surely it should in a way be like a teaser of the main game, but it isn't, right? At all, in my opinion. Like, so maybe that needs to be just addressed, like rework. Maybe add a core raid or something like that, or something like that, or some kind of, I don't know. Like the thing about elite specs is that the core classes are not like elite specs at all, right? Like in a lot of ways, they're just strictly better, right? A lot of the time, it's supposed to be horizontal, but it's kind of not.
It's not, no.
Yeah.
I don't think that worked the way they intended it to originally.
No, yeah, it didn't quite work out. But yeah, it maybe makes a lot of, if they made a lot of core specs good in raids, maybe you could maybe get something like that done and have a core raid, add a raid to the core game to give people a proper flavor of it. They're doing this in PvP, right? Like in PvP, you'll see some core specs, core guard, core thief sees play, right? You know, even core ranger, like core ranger sees some play as well, right? Like some niche play. So there is that, but I think, you know, kind of pushing for some of those core specs up would certainly improve the experience for players who are trying out the game, right? Because I think a lot of people actually that's how they try it, right? They go, you know what, we're going to try out this game, right, and see how it goes. But the thing is, it's they don't get a good representative experience because of the way the core game is. The core game is, I mean, I would say that the core game is like a borderline clown fiesta. Actually, it's not really doing its job correctly in a way, and perhaps it needs to, but you know, that's kind of besides the point here. Like this is, we're talking about the expansion, you know, kind of the relaunch of the game. I don't know, I'd be really interested to see if that would ever be on the table, or if we're ever getting an expansion anytime soon either, right? Like, are we going to see another expansion? That's a big question even on itself. We don't know. That might not be the case. That we might not ever see an expansion. I mean, in a way, it really kind of tears me up to even say this, because I think that ArenaNet kind of have it right. I like the idea of, you know, constantly releasing a stream of content, but maybe when you're in the state that they're in now, which where you kind of need to give it a bit of a kick, right? Get a bit of oomph, right? Get some life and soul back into the game. Maybe you do need an expansion, and not just an expansion with 4 living, you know, just story, right? Okay, maybe you actually need some proper relaunch with group MMORPG content packaged into it on release, right? Something that people can really sink their teeth into when it comes out, right? Because to be honest, I remember this. Maybe I am just, you know, a really old man, a really old gamer, but seriously, when I finished the Path of Fire story, I was really like, dude, what do I do, right? I did it. I beat it.
And that's why you need things like dungeons or fractals, because that's where you would go next.
The next day on stream, I was playing Heart of Thorns raids. Right, I didn't seriously. No, I'm not fucking around though. That's exactly what happened. I beat Path of Fire, right, and then I was back to playing the previous expansion, and I never really thought about it at the time because I was still really enjoying raids, but that's actually fucked, isn't it? That's really messed up that's how that went down. And do you know what the sad thing is? That happened to a lot of people. That wasn't just me, guys, okay? People were still farming the same maps. The Heart of Thorns maps, honestly, get more attention, like more playtime, than probably the other ones as well. Like, I'm not even joking.
I did the Path of Fire story. I haven't been back to the map since. I went to the other day, actually, because I had to go pick up the jackal pet. And I didn't even have the waypoint on.
And that's an inherent problem with Path of Fire. They went from meta heavy in Heart of Thorns to zero meta, nearly zero meta in Path of Fire. And there's a proper middle ground there that they just didn't discover or didn't do for some reason. You need to have those world bosses and those large meta events in order to keep people keep doing those maps. You need to give them a reason to do it. Exploration is awesome. I love it, but it only goes so far, because once you've explored it, you're done. You're not gonna, maybe some people will go back and redo it, but the joy of exploration, the joy of discovering it for the first time, you can't repeat that experience. You can't extract the same enjoyment out of it over and over again. So they need to, they had the bounty system, and I think they thought that was going to carry it, but it didn't.
Yeah, and well, this is what I was talking about right at the start of the stream. This is what alarms me about the marketing. They're talking about cosmetics, right? And find your look or some bullshit, right? Or the mounts. They're advertising the mounts, but guys, mounts are not MMO content. I just think that they are really barking up the wrong trees. The joy of movement. It is a huge meme. The joy of movement, dude. This isn't a racing game. This is an MMO, right? Like, what the fuck? And it's true that the mounts are certainly the best in any MMO. That's fact, in my opinion. Like, the mounts are extremely good, but mounts are not content, guys. You can only run around in circles on the Griffin so many times, right? That's not that isn't content, right? You cannot do that. You go on the mount and you use it. You use the mount in content, right? But they gave us the mount with nothing to do with the mount, which is not ideal. If you ask me, guys, not ideal. Griffin is content. That's true. Griffin is content, but that again, it's only a one-time thing. Like, imagine if an MMO released with one quest, right? That's kind of how it is, right? Like, one quest. Like, oh well, that's maybe not enough quests. And yeah, that's a core problem with Guild Wars 2. And the marketing does kind of scare me a little bit for that exact reason, because are you really going to try and sell this game on just Fashion Wars 2 and mounts? I mean, maybe that will keep the game afloat, but I think it will keep the game afloat, but I just feel like they need more than that, right? If they want to go big again, if they want to go big with Guild Wars 2, if they want to get a proper relaunch, they want to really get people connecting into the game and getting people excited about it. It's not going to be enough just to sell mount skins and cosmetics in the game. But who knows? Maybe they have different goals to what we kind of think the game deserves. That might also be the case, which I am scared of.
What about somebody just said mounts in structured PvP?
What?
But what if they did? What if they did like an Alterac Valley map? This huge map with two sides that you could actually use a mount on to get around.
I think.
Well, Alterac Valley's fun. Like it's so epic and fun your first few times, but then it gets a little like much. I think it would need to be. They'd have to do it like tech level, right? It would need to be so big and so fun that like. I don't know, because like Alterac Valley, like I did it once and then I unchecked it, so I never had to do it again. So I don't want them to spend money and time effort on content like that. But Alterac Valley is very cool. First time.
I don't think we'll see another. Well, I don't know. Another game mode is really, really interesting. I'm not sure if ArenaNet really has the resources to pull it off, because they tried this with Stronghold. And you know what? This would be really interesting. I kind of think that Stronghold could be reworked into actual GvG. Now, what is interesting is I'd love to talk to some GvG players about this. Like, would they actually accept an official game mode, GvG, right? Maybe something like 15v15, okay? But it's a specialized game mode. Because right now, GvG is effectively deathmatch, right? That's what it is. It's, 15v, you bash into each other, kill each other, right? Job done, okay? But I wonder if they would accept a custom map, okay, with Stronghold, where the objective is it's basically Guild Wars 1. Guild Wars 1 GvG is kill the Lord, right? Like you've got two castles, right? Bash into each other, kill the Lord, win. Okay, and it wasn't. You would split up, right? You'd run around the map. You'd be poking and prodding at very different builds and stuff like that. Like, imagine if you reworked Stronghold into something like that, right? As part of the expansion, right? Like for a start, map way bigger. Okay, way bigger. Right. Maybe 3 lanes. Right, so there's a lot of different avenues, or maybe not even lanes. It's like a very kind of twisty, turny map where there's different places you can go. Right, you can attack in different locations. Right, there are you've got the guards there, just like in Guild Wars 1. You've got the the guards defending the Lord, etc., etc., etc. Right? And then you have this death match. It's not exactly a death match, but you want to kill each other, and you also want to kill the Lord, right? Like there is a respawn to it, so if you die, you can come back after a certain amount of time. But whoever kills the Lord first win. I wonder if GvG players would actually accept that. It's a really interesting thing to talk about, in my opinion, because it would obviously be nothing like current GvG, right? Okay. But I don't know. We'd have to see. We'd have to see if that would work, because I think that's something you could be done with Stronghold, because another game mode is probably pushing it at this point for PvP or anything like that. Because for some reason Stronghold never got developed. It basically got patched once, and they added a trebuchet and slightly changed the map, and then they just left it, and now they try and pretend that it doesn't exist.
Which is a shame, because I like Stronghold.
I think it was a cool idea.
I don't think I've ever done it.
Yeah, it was a cool idea.
I had some fun with Stronghold, but and this idea that you're talking about with GvG, I think I would enjoy that a lot more than standard structured PvP, personally. But that's me.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool idea, right? It's absolutely really, really cool.
So tinfoil hats on.
Okay, let's go.
We had this discussion in my stream earlier. So I can't remember who said, I think it was Sam. I don't want to take anyone's thunder on this. I'm not trying to, I didn't come up with this, but they said that E3's announcement, or not E3, oh, fuck. Wow, there goes the punchline. With Guild Wars 2's announcement to this just being more open and telling us the stuff going on, that's different. They also noticed that Guild Wars 2 is at E3 this year. What's going on? Is it really going to be just Fashion Wars 2 at E3? Are they just going to show us some new skins, or is something?
When is E3?
I don't know, actually. I'll get the date for you right now. 1 second.
Ooh.
Have you heard about this, T-Paul?
No, I haven't. Why have I not heard of this? It's June, and
it's in June.
How do you know there?
Someone said I was browsing the participating companies of E3 this year, and I noticed ArenaNet's name on the list. Is there some announcement coming?
Well, okay, now this is where you can really start getting the tinfoil hat on. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to really get the tinfoil hat on?
I'm ready. I got a hat on.
This is not a secret, by the way, guys. There's no, you could very easily find this information, okay? We have all this marketing coming through. We know that the marketing has been planned for a long time, okay? But also, there have been a lot more partners, a lot more ArenaNet partners being added to the program recently, which you can verify that, guys, by looking on the site, right? Okay, you can go and look at that. Okay, so maybe they are ramping up something. Maybe they are looking to talk to looking to talk to some more streamers, like get people into the mix, right? And actually, I think I actually recall. Well, no, I guess I probably shouldn't say that. Actually, never mind. Okay, not going to say.
Careful.
Yeah, I'm being careful, being very careful.
Exposed. Exposed.
Yeah, I recall a certain conversation which I won't mention here, but that kind of memes. That's a bit of a meme there. No, I think there's actually a lot to be tinfoiling about this, guys. Actually, I think you can get that hat on and keep it on, right? Get that tinfoil hat, wear it, and make sure it's nice and polished. Because to be honest. I've heard whispers as well that there is something in the works. Like there is actually some kind of announcement, some kind of big thing that's coming, right? And obviously that's not confirmed. This is from completely unverified sources that you just hear from being in Discords, right? Stuff like that. People try say this, they say
Discords,
that.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Discords, huh?
Not official Discords, okay.
I'll be the wet blanket.
Okay, let's go.
Wet blanket. Let's go.
What Nike said.
Calm us down.
They're at E3 pretty much every year, and it's usually 1 or 2 people, and they have a little booth where they're doing business-to-business meetings, usually. I hope that they announce something or have something to announce, but they generally go to E3 for business-to-business meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the web blanket. That is nothing. It's just business-to-business meetings.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Inks.
Keep your secrets. What are the
I
reasons?
don't know. I'm not a partner anymore. I don't know the ins and outs like I used to. But yeah, let us dream. I know that's why I'm the wet blanket, because I'm destroying the dreams.
Inks is destroying dreams.
Inks is absolutely crushing our soul right now, and it feels bad. Sure. And it might not be anything, but then again, it might be something, right? And I think, obviously you just chill, right? You just you don't get your hopes up, because that's, hope is the first step on the road to disappointment, guys. Okay, and so don't go too crazy about it, right? You want to be relatively relaxed about this sort of thing. Don't go, especially with the position we're in right now. Just don't go. But it would be really cool. I would absolutely love it if there was some kind of big announcement. And I really don't think it's impossible either. We know they were working on stuff in the background. Some of their projects were cancelled, right, because of the very unfortunate situation. But maybe not all of them. Maybe we are going to see a Guild Wars 3, or they are still working on an expansion, right, or something like that. Maybe now they've got all their resources back on Guild Wars 2. Something will come through. And bear in mind, Inks was talking, right? Inks was talking about this right at the start of the stream, actually. We aren't going to see the results of the restructuring, right, because of the layoff situation, right, for a long time, right, because of the way they develop content, right. The raid it's been done for, well, they've been developing that for ages, right, and the hummingbird skin, right, the developer responsible for that was not actually at the company when they released it. Right, because it's been released, now, right? But it's been done for ages, right? Like the way that these companies operate, right, is that they have something done. They've been working on it for a very long time, right? And then a while later, you're going to see it, right? And to be frank, I would be really surprised if Team 1 and Team 2, so the way Living Story works, guys, there are 3 teams: Team 1, Team 2, and Team Papega, which is Team 3. Right, and so this means Team 1 and Team 2 are probably already kind of big in on season 5, episode 1 and episode 2, right? Okay, so Team 3 is still doing their thing, finishing episode 6, right? But episode 1 and episode 2 are probably very much underway, right, in development. They probably have been for a while, even before any of the shenanigans had gone down, right? Yeah. So that's it's very difficult to actually see what's going to happen. But we've seen some posts on Reddit, right, about it's so good to see all of these new changes in ArenaNet. And then the devs have come in there and said, no, we've actually been planning this for a while, right? And actually Ben kind of memed on us in chat as well. He also said the same thing, right? I don't know exactly what it was about. We were talking on something like how great it is that we see all these changes in the company after the restructuring has gone down. And then Ben just said to us, this is not anything to do with that. We've been doing this for ages, right? We've been thinking about doing this for ages, right? So don't kind of meme yourself, don't placebo yourself here, right? Like this we haven't actually seen anything with regards to these these results, right? Okay.
And to further up with that, when the dragon mount, I forget what it's called, when the dragon mount was announced or teased or whatever, I put out a tweet like, oh my God, they're adding dragon mounts to Guild Wars 2. And Matthew Medina, who used to work at the company, but sadly is not there anymore, said, oh, the dragon mount is really awesome, or works really awesome, or something like that. So again, this is more inference to the fact that this is stuff that they've already played with and tested, and they know about it already, right? It's not something they just finished yesterday, so.
Absolutely. Definitely something to look forward to. It is really exciting, and Big L was talking about this in the chat, and this is why even though there's no raid coming with it, and that gives me big physical pain, and realistically, the update that's going to come probably at the end of April, if I had to guess, 30th, I'll say why, but I want to do my main point first, right? I think there will be an announcement. I really hope there is. It's just going to be a living story, but I'm so excited if for that episode just because I think ArenaNet will drop on us what the plan is, right? Okay. At the end of a Living Story episode, Living Story season, they will typically say, yeah, expansion, right? Because that's what happened at the end of the previous one, at the end of Living Story, not this one, but the one in Heart of Thorns, right? Okay, Living 3, I guess. After that, it said, bam, Path of Fire, right? Boom, they hit us with it, okay? And it was the same with Living Story 2, right? They said, bam. Right at the end, they teased Heart of Thorns, right? They teased Heart of Thorns. So if that still goes through, right, we should see they're going to tease us, not necessarily with an expansion, right? Not necessarily, of course, but it could be, oh yeah, by the way, get ready. You're going to need new magics, new abilities, right, to take down Kralkatorrik. And that, that would be elite specializations, right? Or, there's maybe an expansion, right? There could be an expansion. They're going to say, oh, yeah, something season else is lurking. I mean, yeah, it might be season. If it's season 5, then it's like,
the Dragon of the North.
Thanks for playing. We'll see you in season 5.
Yeah, if that happens, I'm just going to crumple, okay? Just imagine, okay, this is what's going to happen to me. If it's just a season 5 trailer, just picture this, guys. Imagine if all of my bones suddenly disappeared, right? Right? That's what it's going to be, dude. I'll be compressed, right? I'll be more compressed than the narwhal that I'll compress now.
The narwhal.
Yeah, the narwhal that I will fold into a million pieces on stream, okay? Yeah, if that happens, then that fucking sucks. I really hope that isn't the case. That would be a worst case scenario for me. I want to know the future, right? I am really invested in this game. I really like this game. This game is very good, okay? You know what? Nice. If someone asked me, Teapot, rate Guild Wars 2. Nice. All right, that's, very good. Excellent. Yeah, that's a pretty good game, guys. But I really hope they hit us with something good. I want us to hit it hard. I want expansion. I want elite specs. Let's go. Resurrect the game. Because right now, guys, game is just... It's hidden away. No one knows about fucking Guild Wars 2, dude, okay? Yeah. 10k hours into it. It's all right. It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, you said that. It's pretty good. Yeah.
10k hours in. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, boy.
But yeah. Seriously, guys, keep your eyes peeled. It's a really exciting time for Guild Wars 2, in my opinion. I know it doesn't feel like it. Like, to me, it feels like some of the quietest time in the game ever. Right now, I feel like we are in a bit of a void zone, but damn, dude, I'm counting down the days. And in reference to why I said it's going to be the 30th, or why I think it's going to be the 30th, if you guys don't know about this, get your tinfoil hats out. Like, this is another thing where I'm talking about tinfoil. Okay, we're talking about tinfoil, but... The calm before the storm, exactly, okay? There is currently a promotion running, okay? If you subscribe to ArenaNet's newsletter, okay, what happens is that if you are subscribed by the 29th, you will get a funny hat for free. You will get a purple dragon, it's some kind of purple mask, like a kind of marking on your face, okay, on the 29th, okay? And you know what? You know what the 29th is, guys? Okay? It's a Monday. Okay? When do Guild Wars 2 patches come out? Tuesday. Okay? What day is after 29? 30. Okay? Boom. 29 plus 1, 30. Next patch, 30th.
Boom.
Boom. Okay?
Mind blown.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Big brain Matt. Dude, that, like, I'm hyped. Like, let's go. Where are we going? Like, like, put him on the commercial. Y'all ready? We're 29 plus 1.
Now, look, I'm going to be real here. They should hire me to advertise their game, right? Look, guys, come on. Would you guys not like to see that? Me advertising Guild Wars 2? Come on, that would be great. right? That would have been so good. I am so sad. So I went to Res the other week, right? And they showed, and they streamed this, right? They streamed this on their channel as well, and they showed a bunch of the reactions to Aurene being dead. Okay, DeRoyers was the best. He was like, "Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah." He was like, everyone else was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sad." DeRoyer was like, "Yeah, ooh, that's good. Ooh, yeah." But I'm so sad I didn't. Yeah, I'm so sad I didn't put my reaction in because you basically like they gather up from the partners, right? Okay. I didn't even bother to go with mine because I was actually laughing. I was like, yes, this is good. This is good content. Oh man, this is nice. I was laughing like, yes. Right?
It's timey. I hope it's timey.
Oh, dude.
Oh my god.
Dude, I was like jumping around in circles, like spamming weapons, so like jumping on everyone, right? Like it was so inappropriate. Like it would have been amazing if they'd shown that. Like
Throwing
me,
siege.
and yes, Ben, I will do. So I'm gonna do some of that maths for you. Okay? I'm gonna hit that math on that commercial. Okay? But oh man, it'll be so good. Wait, I openly said I hope Timey dies forever. Sure. What the hell, man? Yeah. You're a big meanie. See, this is what PvP does to you, dude. Like, this is a PvP main, and look, he's like wishing death on Timey. Wow. What?
Timey.
Oh. Right.
Holy shit. I'm actually super hyped for we got Game of Thrones tonight. We got
April, dude.
It's almost time.
Yeah.
It's almost time for we got what? 16 days in the month, if I'm math correct?
Yeah. That's right. It's big. This is a big month. You know I'm really timid about saying this stuff because do you guys remember this? You guys, I think the chat will know what I'm gonna say. I said last year that that 2018 will be the year of Guild Wars 2. Okay, and 2018 was like the trash year in Guild Wars 2. It was like we got one raid, dude, one raid in an entire year. I was like, yeah, dude, we're gonna get 3 raids this year. Let's go. We're gonna get a Fractal CM coming through. Fractal CMs are the deadest content ever, dude. Like dude. Okay, you could actually go and find like the last dodo carcass preserved in a museum that's still got more life in it. Okay, than fucking than Guild Wars 2, like fucking World versus World and Fractal CMs, man, and even raids as well. Like it's dude, I did jinx it, man. I'm sorry. I'm actually really sorry. I was like, yeah, dude, they're gonna hit alliances. We're gonna see reward reworks. Okay, we're gonna see big memes. We're gonna see hard memes. Okay, it's gonna be great. And then that didn't happen. So I'm just gonna shut the fuck up because I don't want to ruin it for you guys. I know that ArenaNet is like trolling me, dude. Okay, this is why do you think Ben watches TeaTime? Okay, like Ben is just here. He's like, yeah.
They sit there just laughing. Oh, they don't know.
Ping your 100% essences, dude. I've got 500. I've got over 5. I've got 600 essences, man. Yeah, I did understand him every day for like half a year, maybe more. No, I actually maybe nearly a year. Actually, it was good. Patch in March, by the way. Base, why are you bringing that up, buddy? Okay, like, why are you trying to? I did say that. I did actually say that. But come on, like, you need shh, right? My chat, yeah. Oh my god. ArenaNet Ben, dude, Creature Sanity is trying to say that ArenaNet Ben said they don't know Pepe laugh. They lack the critical information. Yeah, I mean, we do. We actually do. Okay, we do. But yeah, I don't know. Mark that date, guys. 30th could be hype. Now, to be fair, wow, I get kicked out of this map. Feels bad, man. So, in theory, ArenaNet typically give us a 2-week lead up. I'm correct. That's correct, right? Basically, they give you 2 weeks. That's how it usually goes down.
Are we 2 weeks away now?
So, in theory, this coming Tuesday, we might see something.
Ooh.
Or is it 1 week? Is it 1 week?
It's 1 week, and then the next week you usually get it. Like next Tuesday, it's coming, right? So we've got, what, 2 weeks left?
Yeah, well, I guess so, yeah. So we might hear something either this week or next week. That would be big, right? Okay, that would actually be really, really big in my opinion. I'd love to see it. I'd be really, really excited because, to be honest, I'm gonna just bum rush the story. I'm not gonna look at anything. I'm not even gonna listen to the fuck. I skip all the dialogue. I just want to get to the end, see that cut. I want to see what happens, right? Okay, seriously, I just want to get to the end of that and just see what they're teasing.
Anything that's
right?
happening.
Yep. Nope. Don't care. No. I'm like, oh yeah, boohoo. We're all very sad. Aureen, yeah. Okay, shut the fuck. Let's move on. Okay, like, come on, you shh. Go on, let's cut that. Okay, I just want to see what's going to happen in the game. Okay, where's my content? Where are my memes? Right, and I want to get to that. Let's go. I give you honestly, if they gave me a crayon drawn screenshot, okay, but it shows new elite specializations. Sign me up, dude. Okay, let's go.
Holy shit. Talk about the money they would save. Like a little a chalkboard in the break room that says expansion 3. Like, color me hyped.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll take it, man. Okay. How dare you write off Arena like that? I almost cried. Well, I mean, yeah, I did.
Even better, all they have to write is soon. If they just texted you soon,
yeah,
you'd be like, oh god, I can't.
Just hook me up. Just hook me up. That's all we want, right? That's what we desire. We want it. Okay, let's get in the mix. Hey, I don't know. I am really positive about it. Okay, the only time I'm negative now is when I'm playing raids. Okay, or sometimes when in PvP ranked. You know, sometimes when you're in a game, it's like, well, what am I even supposed to do? Then you know that's depressing. But now I'm hard PMA. I'm just never gonna raid ever again. No raids. PMA. Let's go. PvP. Solo queue. No. Look. Inks, take that down. You're gonna get banned, man. You're leaking this. You can't leak this stuff. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna screenshot that. Yeah. That's gonna be on Reddit. Like, they got alert.
It's been leaked.
Exposed.
Leaked. Yeah. Absolutely. It's an exciting time. Do we have anything else to talk about? Actually, do we have any other topics to kind of go over here? Because we kind of talked about all I wanted to say. Really. Any of you guys got anything? Want to bring up some stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah. I got nothing, man. We've burned through all of it. I've burned it all. All of it's gone. You guys got any questions? I'll do some questions. Chat, ask us something, okay? If you don't ask us something, we're out of here, okay? We're done. We're donezo. But if you've got questions, we'll answer them, okay? Boom. New PvP modes, please. Probably not. Should I play Guild Wars 2? It's something I really regret asking because when I went to Res, there were some developers, some partner program people around the Jackal mount that was like the thing they had at Res. I should have gone up to them and said, okay, I don't play Guild Wars 2. Why sell me on Guild Wars 2? I really regret not doing that. Okay, but you know what? It's gonna work because none of them recognize me at all. You know, it's kind of a bit, what the hell? But next time I go to one of those things, I'm gonna like hard troll, dude, because I'm anonymous. They don't know. They fucking don't know, dude. So I'm just gonna go up to them and say, so tell me, what's great about Guild Wars 2? Right? It's like I'm a prospective new player. I'm a die-hard World of Warcraft mythic raider. Okay, tell me why I should play Guild Wars 2. And I don't know. That would be a fun conversation. I don't know. Like,
See, I do the opposite. I go up to them and just say, hey, I'm wooden potatoes. Let me in.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, they'll believe that, right? We don't know what they don't.
That's true.
Knows what WP looks like.
They know what he sounds like, though.
Yeah, but that's the editing, I mean, whatever.
It's a voice changer.
Yep,
I was actually watching one of his videos the other day.
I set it to British, and that's what it comes out like.
He apparently made a video the other day. He was like, yeah, I'm not going to go in too long on this. And then it was like a long video. And someone says, wooden potatoes, I'm not going to go on this too long. 15 minutes later, I saw that in his comments. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah.
Do my best wooden potatoes impression.
Oh, do it.
I'd have to listen to one of his videos. I don't have anything for you at the moment.
Yeah. You made TeaTime.
I think we just, wooden inks. Okay. All
Plastic
right.
Pickle.
It has to be like Boots. That is absolutely terrible idea, mate. Okay, that's a bit like it. That sort of thing. But there's a good question from Kidder here actually. What would be the ideal way for ArenaNet to communicate? What do you think the best way What would your ideal be? To be honest, I would like to know exactly, okay, what is going on, right? Like exactly what is going on, and like with precision, right? Okay, so we're doing this, we're doing that. Like this is on the table. Let's have a conversation about it. I like the idea that they've told us what they have on the table, but what I would love is it to go both ways, right? Right now, ArenaNet, it's always been this way. ArenaNet is on their pedestal, and they talk to the plebs, right? They receive this knowledge which we bestow upon you. Okay, what I would love is okay, let's have a conversation about this. Okay, what do you guys want? What do you guys think about this idea? What do you guys think about that idea? Give us some feedback. Let's talk about how to make this the best it can possibly be. Okay. What about easy mode raiding, for example? Okay, how should that loot structure work? Okay, world versus world. To be honest, the players know the game the best. Okay, in any game, dedicated PvPers know PvP the best. Okay, dedicated world versus world players know world versus world the best. Okay, and to be honest, you have so much experience in those players, right? That is a great way to talk about balance, okay, and the design of the game and what the players actually want. Have those conversations with the players for each game mode and actually try and work together with the player base instead of just kind of like randomly firing off ideas, okay? I think the mount is a perfect example of this, okay? It was something that ArenaNet did, okay, without consulting the players, okay? Most players inside World versus World actively didn't want this, okay? Right? Actively didn't want this mount, especially the more veteran and hardcore players. Okay? Like, there was no conversation there at all, right? And the balance of the mount wasn't consulted on at all, okay? Having that conversation about that could have, for a start, got the PvP community the World vs. World community to actually accept it a lot more, because in its current state, I think no one actually bothers about it. To be honest, I'm actually going to expose the World vs. World community. They were hilariously reactionary. I think even in its unnerfed state, it was actually still very weak. And not overpowered in any way. Now they've made it so it's just, it's the most flaccid thing ever, right? It doesn't do anything, right? Because of how people like boo-hoo, they cried about it so much. Like even when it was actually 10 target and did way more damage, it was actually still, in my opinion, probably if anything underpowered, I guess, if they wanted to actually do anything. But I don't know. That's just, there you go. Yeah, the wall skips, that's something you could actually fix, right? The wall skips were a bit, a little bit silly. That was, not so good. But in its current state, I doubt many people even complain about the mount. And to be honest, I was roaming around between matches in AT. In my opinion, it hasn't really affected roaming at all. Right? I've still been able to kill people while they were taking a camp. And yeah, some people have run away from me, but I mean, do I really care about like that sick 1v1 against the guy he's like in full soldier's gear and he's like longbow, barebow ranger? I mean, no, I don't. No, it hasn't really impacted it at all, in my opinion. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's all good in my opinion. Like I don't think anyone really cares about the mount anymore. I think it's perfectly fine. But still, like, it would have been good to have a conversation about, right? To introduce players to the idea before it actually happened. The fact that it kind of came out of nowhere really, I think it upset people, and it meant it emphasized the disconnect between the player base and the developers, right? And this is something that is completely across the board as well. I think the player base feels disconnected from the developers, and communication and discussion is how you bridge that gap. I think it's been that way for far too long, and we need to see a reversal of that. That would be my ideal communication, a two-way discussion between the developers and the players. Now, this is actually happening in private to a certain extent, but as I understand it, it doesn't actually have much of an impact. Right. Okay. There's a lot of discussions about balance, about ideas for mechanics and stuff like that. But as I understand it, it doesn't really go that far. It seems to be that there's a lot of player feedback from top players in PvP, and you do see some very slight changes in balance. Okay. But it doesn't really go as far as it needs to. Right. Okay. It is indeed a shame. It is indeed a shame. But I would love to see that sort of thing more. Like having the players' opinions, and especially the veteran players, having some influence over the game, or at least having a conversation with the developers, being allowed to talk to the developers about this stuff, will be a massive positive for the game, especially from players who are very heavily invested. Right? What do you guys think about that in terms of communication?
Oh, huge. just more of the stuff that was recent. Just open up, just honesty. Like, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. May not be happening right away, but these are our plans. That felt so fresh.
Yeah, and I think too that taking feedback from invested veteran players who know those particular game modes, I think, is really important. I'm not saying that you need to listen to them word for word, but I do think you need to take serious consideration into their ideas. World vs. World in general has been asking, fix balance, and then they're like, here's a glider, here's a war mount, a workload, whatever. And yet balance still remains a fairly big problem. So, I think that's something that they need to listen to them and address it.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, I completely echo that. I completely echo that sentiment. But I think that actually might just about do it for this tea time. I think we've kind of reached the end of that. A really good one, really good tea time. Actually, a really nice discussion today about a whole bunch of different things. And maybe we've got you guys a little bit excited, a little bit of a spicy meme here. But you know what? I think it's time. We have approached the end of the tea time. That means we must now shill hard, guys. Okay, you better get on that action, guys. Subscribe right now to everyone. But of course, we've educated you about the game, and now it is time to educate you about who we are. So now, after a long hiatus, MMO Inks is back. Okay, with the insane drama between me and him, Rage, we were like flaming each other on Twitter, going crazy, blocking each other. It was out of control, dude. Like, but now it's all good. The beef is gone, dude. The beef is gone, and Inks is back on Tea Time. Inks, what are you up to these days, dude?
Well, I guess I can answer that question. Like, he was asking a question earlier, and somebody else asked it too about the beef with Teapot. I did talk. Me and him, we did have a conversation a couple of weeks ago when Brazil was on and a bunch of other people about that a little bit. But basically, and DeRoyer's not here, so I don't want to get into that side of it. But basically, I had blocked DeRoyer, and there's a reason for that. And Teapot messaged me, and I was just in a bad mood, and I was like, I don't want to deal with any of this. Block everybody. Block everybody who contacts me about it. And obviously that's not the solution. That's not the right way to go about it. And I did talk to Teapot and DMs and stuff afterwards about it, but really wasn't a big beef. It was more like, I don't want to explain myself or deal with this, so block everybody, which was obviously not the right way to go about that. Yeah, I block often. It's true.
That's a spicy meme right there, dude.
Yeah, I do stream twitch.tv/MMOinks. I've been playing Guild Wars 2, Magic the Gathering Arena. I play quite a bit, and I'm looking for other games to stream.
Boom. All right, and okay, Tree of Savior main. Okay. Yeah. BDO Whale, and of course Guild Wars 2 player as our PvP god. It's Envy. What are you up to these days, dude?
Working on SPVP. I'm actually trying to, figure out a class that I can actually play. I'm doing a bunch of ATs on stream. I'm going through the Ascension now, so I'm almost done with that. So be on part 4 probably this week. Doing Ad Infinitum and just, queuing with some friends and enjoying Guild Wars 2. Do raids with the accident buddies and kind of doing it all. A little Tree of Savior on the side. It's a little guilty pleasure, but I'm honestly really hyped for hopefully a new Legendary Greatsword and new stuff coming with this game. So yeah, stream weekends, come hang out.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Easy.
And boom, easy indeed. And finally, it's me, guys. If you enjoyed this tea time every week and get back on track, or mostly every week, depends if there's something to talk about, I'll try and, you know what, we might do a bit of a reunion tea time coming up soon, guys, with maybe the old gang. I think Boots is around next week, Brazil as well, so maybe we can get the entire old gang back together for tea time. That would be pretty cool. I'll see about that. Okay, but yep, if you enjoyed the stream, follow the stream. if you, if you really like the stream, I stream every single day, guys. Guild Wars 2, that hot Guild Wars 2 action every single day, guys. Okay, you can subscribe as well. Get those emotes. Get those memes. Big's a Snake. Say we need to get Big's a Snake on Tea Time again, dude. I want to trigger people. Okay, these Tea Times are far too well received. I want to get those dislikes, dude. I want to hard trigger people. I want to get the Snake on here, dude. He's going to be going crazy. That would be hilarious. But anyway, follow, guys. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter as well. Let's go. Just get there. Increase that follower count. That could be you. You can be a part of that number. Okay, you can go hard. Okay. Boom, YouTube. See all the Tea Times, okay? All the Tea Times are on YouTube. Like, there's like 200 Tea Times, something like that. This is ridiculous amount. It's an insane amount of Tea Times, okay? Get on that action, okay? Follow, subscribe. Everyone here, get on all of that shit, guys. You gotta get on pace, right? You've really got to get on pace, get into the mix, okay? And be sure, okay, to come back and watch every single day, because that's what you need to do, right? You got to be consistent about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go figure out who we're gonna host. Who are we gonna host? Are you gonna start streaming again, Envy? Or because I can't.
Maybe later. I'm gonna go eat. I haven't had anything to eat since breakfast.
All right. In that case, oh man. Okay, in that case, we're gonna get a host going on here in just a moment, guys. But while we're doing that, okay, everyone subscribe, everyone follow. Look at all those emotes, guys. Look, Creature, he put all of them. He put every single emote. Look at them all, dude. Wow. Okay. He's champ. Yeah. Wow. That's so good. Definitely getting on that action, guys. You'll be missing out. Okay, if you don't, and that would just be a big mistake in my opinion. So I'll tell you what. Seeing as I'm a hard PvP main now, let's host Cookie actually. Seeing as Cookie's streaming, let's mix it up. Don't think I've ever managed to host Cookie. He never fucking streams. Okay, we're gonna make him stay. So go say hi to Cookie for me, guys. He is Guardian main. He's actually the highest rated player on EU right now, I think. Although he doesn't have enough games to actually count, but still. So. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Thanks for all the subs, guys, during the duration of the Tea Time as well. I love you all very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for some extra spicy memes, okay? And we're going to be, building up that hype train, okay? As we're all epic gamers, just like Topic EU, for all the new stuff in Guild Wars 2. And, maybe we'll see some other stuff as well. Maybe, maybe we get some other games again. After the Kadim guide is coming soon, by the way. After the Kadim guide, we're going to make some videos I actually want to make, okay? But first, we've got to get that done, okay? And I know it, guys. We're gonna get that job done. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later. Be sure to follow, subscribe. Everyone here, links are below the stream, below the YouTube as well. Okay, get on that action, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all very much. See you guys in the mists.